But we're not recording.
We are now. So, are we starting this now, Dan?
If you want to. I don't know how to start a podcast.
Alright. This is Jim.
And I'm Danny.
And Daniel. And this is the revival of the One Couch Podcast. A bi-weekly book club of sorts.
Is it? Are we confirming it's bi-weekly?
I was thinking that.
Okay. Well,
we can make lofty goals. And
then fall through and never set them again.
Yeah, just like life.
And then a couple months later, we'll set another goal, and then our people will get really excited, and then it'll be months till they hear us again.
Get used to that, kids. Yeah, it's just the same kind of format as before. I pick something one week, and you pick something the other week. We're not doing 2 things a week like me and Adrian used to do, because that was fucking terrible, because it was 3 hours long, and that was tiring as fuck.
What's the first week's topic that I threw out as a joke, and then it stuck, so I had to continue
Was
going
this a
on
joke?
Yeah.
You piece of shit. You watch all these terrible things!
I didn't think you'd actually like it that much.
Well, I didn't have any fucking ideas. Alright, you picked... This is One Couch Podcast. Our first week is... fucking Dead Space 3.
Well, Dead Space as a whole, not just...
But you said...
The third one was new for both of us, but...
Have you not played it before either?
No, I've never played Dead Space 3 before this. I just beat it.
You've given me the misfortune.
Yeah, I know. Well, I haven't played the first one since a year or two ago, and the second one I played last year. Have you played the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the second one's basically the first one, except a little better in some areas and a little worse.
So is that our background on Dead Space? That I watched the Let's Play of the first one. I watched Jesse Cox play it, because I was a wee lad, and I didn't have any money.
I played it on... No, I rented it on the Xbox. I rented it the first one on the Xbox 360. It got to the point in the game where you could see, like, the nursery in front of you, and you could see, like, the scientist get his, like, hand punctured to the wall with the, like, little baby shots.
I have no memory of this.
Are
they Bulbasaurs?
Yeah. They're those things.
Prefacing this with, I have a bunch of names for the necromorphs.
Do you have more than that?
Yeah, I'm sure that if you go on the wiki, they have like actual
They have official names, and I know some of the official names. Well, the main ones are called slashers.
That's dumb. I have. Okay, so going through the list of like the necromorphs that I've seen, we're gonna talk about the movies, the 2 movies. I don't know if there's more.
There's an animated comic book, but it looked shitty. Like,
but we watched. I remember there were movies, so we watched Dead Space Downfall
and 2008, and then
Aftermath
2011.
Yeah, we watched both those. Yeah. Both of them are shit.
The first, okay,
we're talking about that after. I want to give you my necromorph names just so people have the background of that. So my first one are the blade guys, which are like
slashers, like the main ones that you see.
The regular like spidery necromorphs. Then you have the Bulbasaurs, the
baby thing. Well, they're not babies in the third. Yeah,
in the third one they're fucking dogs,
and it's not as
makes
scary.
No sense.
Well, no, if you read the text log, it said that. I
know
they have that many dogs.
They said they have a dog kennel, but like, why the fuck? Never mind.
Dozens and dozens of dogs.
Yeah, and they're babies in the first and second game. They're dogs.
Babies are scarier than dogs.
There's the dog boys.
Is the guys that peek around the corner?
Yeah,
I forget stalkers. I think that's their official name.
Before.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're stalkers.
The yellow dudes, which are like
the big draggy guys that explode. Yeah. I don't know.
There's the hive guys.
Is that the ones that are stuck to the wall?
No, those are the ones that have like they're like
the fat guys.
Yeah, the big fat guys who have like little shits.
And you see like 2 of them in the entire third game.
Yeah,
I know, right? You forgot they were an enemy because you see the one and it's like a little cutscene cinematic. I think I saw another one halfway through.
There are only 2.
I saw one at the very end of the game. There was like 3 in the entire
game. Do they
game.
have... Because I killed them like I did in Dead Space
they
2.
didn't have the little enemies in them after the first one, as far as I couldn't see.
That's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
And there's just like the babies, which I call that those ones from Dead Space 2 that like are little like blowy up sack babies.
Oh, yeah.
And then the kids.
That you get introduced to like when the mother's like cradling it.
And she's like,
yeah, those ones.
And then
there was nothing like that in the third one.
Yeah, I know, it's like it's shit, eh? And then there's the kids, which are like the spindly little dudes.
Yeah, the string boys in 3.
Yeah, and they're
not as scary
the
either.
String boys in 2. Yeah, that's the background for when we talk about
everything in 3 was just not as good as the second one.
Yeah, well, that's the theme of today. It gets progressively worse.
It was okay. Before we start, I'll say it was better than I was expecting. As shitty.
Not me. I thought it'd be much better.
Nah,
I
heard really bad, so I went in with like bottom expectations about everything, and I didn't go away having a great time because I was like forced to play it, but it was alright. What was I gonna say? No, I went into Dead Space 3 with like bottom tier expectations. Like, I've heard so much garbage from the game and fans and stuff. I wouldn't call myself like a Dead Space connoisseur.
Well, you've played all the games.
I've played all the games. I guess, yeah, that's probably more than most people can say.
More than I have, because I fucking gave up on the third one.
Well, it was... Okay, I ended the storyline of Dead Space 3. I could see, like, a good game inside of it. Like, you didn't
the game
do you know the ending or anything?
No, don't tell me yet.
Yeah.
But the gameplay's still there. Like, it's still.
Well, yeah, you can see sometimes when it's like, yeah, it's a really fun game.
My biggest problem with Dead Space 3 right now, before we talk about the movies and stuff, and the progression, is that they got so fucking lazy. They just reused all the same assets and the same engine. They're like, fuck it. Well, they can use the same engine, but literally.
Well, yeah, it's not.
Everything was either cut and paste, and they were like, oh fuck, Isaac can crouch now. Oh fuck.
Did you ever use that?
No, it's
I never
useless.
used that either. Like, even with fighting the guys, you could just one-shot
literally
them
just bop
really
them when they
easily.
fall out of the fucking helicopter.
Yeah, it was pretty pointless. you know there was a cover mechanic? Did you ever use that? Did you know that?
I saw it for 5 seconds when I was
like duck behind
and I was like,
shoot
this
out.
is garbage. And I just walked out of cover and shot guys.
Yeah,
with
I know.
revolver.
It's useless. How many times did you... Okay, before we'll start off this. How many times did you die in the third game? Ever?
Well, I played...
Did you play at hardest difficulty?
No.
No, I just played normal.
I started on normal, and we got so many pickups that I was like... Oh, we should talk about the movies first, but...
Okay, do you want to start with the movies?
Yeah, let's
yeah,
because I want to give, like, the background.
Well, the movies technically happened before the games as well, you know that?
Well, the first one does. The second one takes place between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So, Dead Space 1, you played it.
Yeah.
I didn't. I watched Jesse Cox play it, which is a good Let's Play. You like the game, right?
Yeah.
So give me some background, because I don't remember a lot about it.
So, you're Isaac Clarke, you're sitting in a seat. First it opens up, you're sitting in a seat, and he seems like he's the captain. He's just some engineer.
He progresses through the series from just
engineer
a guy...
to a genocidal human who
fucking
hundreds
space
of...
Jesus.
And every alien race in the universe has had problems with these guys.
Except
this one person. Even the alien race in 3 fucked up with them, and they still lost in the end.
Isaac Clarke is Space Antichrist.
Yeah, I know.
Depending if you're
so the first game, it's, if I remember, it's all set on the Ishimura.
Yeah.
The ship, it's all set, which I thought was an interesting thing, so you feel connected to it. Mm-hmm. The second game, it was on the Spire as well, and you went to the city and stuff, which I thought was really cool too. And then the third game, it was like... You started in space for a long... I didn't know you started in space in the third game. You were in space for, like, a couple hours.
I think I was there for, like, 3 hours
yeah,
or something.
Like,
it's pretty open in there.
Yeah, I guess. There's a lot of side missions.
I thought that was going to be when I went in there, I thought that was going to be the whole game.
Yeah. Well, I knew you landed at the planet sometime. I didn't know when, though.
Well, yeah, well, the first one, you just have, like... It's pretty simple. How do you feel about all the, like... Resident Evil influences on it, because I wrote it down when the last time I played Dead Space 2, because they recorded it on my 360. Last time I played Dead Space 2 before you said to play it was February 2nd, 2013.
Holy shit!
So 5 years ago,
I probably played it last year. I wanted to beat both of them. I'll get to that. You can see, like, Dead Space has gone the same way as Resident Evil, and I know they won't swing around like Resident Evil did, because, like, the first one was really scary. Like, it was slower than 4, or like Resident Evil 4. Mm-hmm. And the second one was like sort of faster. It still wasn't Resident Evil 5, but the third one was just full action. Like, there was no...
It's dumb as fuck.
I think there was 1 or 2 moments in that whole game where I was like genuinely scared.
Well, even like, I feel that, because I've played...
It's sad that Visceral Games is shut down now.
EA is the monster that eats all good developers.
Yeah. I don't know.
So,
well, the DLC, we'll talk about that, Evan. Do you know anything about the Dead Space 3 DLC?
No, fuck
no?
that.
It ended it actually pretty neat. Well, I'll talk about it after,
just like the way that Resident Evil controls even, because I've played Resident Evil 1 and 2 on my PlayStation.
That's something I kept thinking about. I wish you could snap around like in Resident Evil. Like, you could do it quick 180 and snap around.
I didn't, like, see,
you can't do that in Dead Space.
I like the tank controls. It feels like the natural progression that if they kept doing tank controls instead of changing so much in 4. I guess 4 is still tank controlly, but
you could, like, it was like Dead Space 3's movement. You could, like, move left and right way more while you're running and stuff. It wasn't just like
it
turn
felt
stop.
Like if they stuck to tank controls, that's how it would naturally progress.
Yeah.
But
are there any games that still do that much?
Indie games, I think. Probably poopy ones.
Indie games.
Yeah, so what about the storyline in Dead Space 1? Because I literally do not... I probably...
You don't remember?
If the last time I played Dead Space 2 was 5 years ago, I probably watched the Let's Play 6 years ago.
So, Dead Space 1 opened up, and it was pretty scary, because it was like, you started in like a wide open area, and you naturally progressed.
Don't you see your friends all die?
Yeah, you see, through like a glass thing. I wouldn't call them friends, I fucking don't know who they are. It was some...
Isaac's friends all die.
Yeah, it was like just your crew, I guess. But you saw them all die by necromorphs, and then you have to get... I think the main part of that game first is getting up a tram system running, if I remember. And then you like go outside of the ship and stuff like that. It's just a whole romp through like all the Ishimura, and I found that really cool because you did get like connected to the ship and like different areas you felt way safer in.
Well, it's like that, or Resident Evil 1 and 2.
Yeah,
the
mansion.
Just in that one mansion or the police station that has fucking hieroglyphic puzzles in it.
Yeah, that's a normal police station.
Isn't Isaac there to save his girlfriend or something?
Well, no, the first one, Isaac's there, like the first one's the only one in the series that he's like...
He doesn't talk at all, right?
No, he doesn't talk at all. He's like, I am an engineer, and I'm doing engineer things. Like, all the weapons in that game are like... They're not like pulse rifles. They're like a hydrazine torch, pneumatic rifle, or whatever it's called.
Pneumatic?
Yeah. The sideways gun that everyone uses.
What is that? Plasma cutter.
Yeah.
Plasma cutter and a line
I don't
gun.
even think they call it that in the third game.
Called a gun.
I don't know what it's called in the third game, but I don't think it's
No,
called
it's called plasma cutter.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever made anything. Yeah, so I remember. You have to go to the Ishimura, because if I remember, it was like leaving out distress signals. So your team went there to go look at it, because they thought there were like people on board, and it was just sending out a big distress signal. You go on board, everything's fucked up. Your ship's ruined now, too.
Does Nicole talk to you through...
Yeah.
Okay.
So Nicole talks to you.
As Isaac's girlfriend, who is on the Ishimura,
then breaks up with him, and then dates another guy, then gets back together with him, then leaves.
Is that do you get like a bunch of backstory of her on the ship while you're there?
Yeah, sort of.
Was she a piece of shit?
No,
she break his engineer heart?
Well, she stopped dating him, if I remember. He made the marker in the second game, broke the marker in the second game because he was brainwashed to make it, and then she broke up with him because he was like too obsessed.
That's Ellie.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Nicole.
Oh my god, there's a second woman.
Do you not remember that? The fucking plotline of Dead Space 2 is Nicole, his dead girlfriend, fucking talking to him.
Yeah, the ghosty woman who screams at you in elevators.
And she's in the first one. She's on the Ishimura. He's going there to save her.
The third one's the only one that matters anymore.
That's what people remember.
That's what people will remember when they think about these games. The first one had a lot better scares. Like, I think obviously it's known. Like, the first one's scary, the second one's still scary, but the third one's...
Poop.
Were you scared in the third one ever? I think I'm a bitch with horror games. I was scared at the first sight of those string bean men, and then you found out you could kill them in one shot.
The stringy boys?
Yeah, the guys that ate other ate infected tissue.
Oh, yeah.
I was scared at them first, and then you found out you can kill them in one shot. Like,
are you
chest
bad
up.
with horror games?
Yeah, I'm shit with horror games.
Because I think the only horror game that really legitimately scared me was fucking PT.
PT did. I
think it's because I played it with friends on the couch.
Well,
remember we all had our hoods up closed, and we were like, ah!
Well, Dead Space 1 scared me to the point where I couldn't play it, because I rented it on the Xbox 360 and didn't beat it. I returned it like a day later.
How old were you? You're a young boy. You're 4 years younger than me. Or 3.5 or whatever.
When did it come out?
2008.
2008?
Yeah. So you were 9.
I definitely didn't play it when I was 9.
I was 13.
I don't know when I would have played it. Probably grade 8, 7. Probably grade 7.
Oh, so like
12, like probably same age.
2012.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, I rented it, played up to the point where you saw the like Bulbasaur babies shoot a doctor's hand into the window, and there was a big door that said open, and you could see the glass and them crawling around in it. And I remember I got up, turned off my Xbox, and returned it, and then didn't play it.
Did you rent it from Jumbo or
something?
something?
Yeah. And then didn't return it or didn't play it again until like 2 years ago. And then I sat down, and I'm still not good with it. Like, I still have to pause, like, after every couple rooms and stuff, and just,
How do you think it compares? Like, do you like it more than 2?
Because
I'm not going to ask if you like it more than 3, because that's an obvious answer.
I think I don't know. Going back and playing it, I might not like it as much as 2, just because the environment would get pretty boring.
Too?
Yeah, like... 2 did a lot of stuff. Like, I think it made it not as scary because it gave you so many more weapons.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's inherently with horror games. Like,
I think 2 is like, it's like, you've never watched the Evil Dead movies, right? Okay, the first
new one.
The first Evil Dead, the new one's good. First Evil Dead's like supposed to be a horror film.
It wasn't just the first, like, the environment and stuff of the second game that I liked better. So the first game, I think, was technically worse than the second one, because the second one was just...
Well, that's not...
Like, really... not... Yeah, saying worse when they're both just still really good games.
Yeah.
Like, Yeah, it's not really a comparison. Like, it's not like one's insane.
Oh yeah, the Evil Dead point I want to make. The first Evil Dead movie, a bunch of dudes in the woods, like a bunch of like 20-somethings in the woods, just trying to make a horror film, and it's scary at some points if you're not used to horror, but it's more like schlocky and fun. The second one was a mixture of like horror and lots of humor, and the third one is just humor. So I feel like with very little attempts at like horror.
Does he fight skeleton men?
Yeah, that's the one where he fights like rubber men who dressed up like skeletons.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of what happened with Dead Space. The first one's horror, and it's not campy, it's legitimately scary, in my opinion. The second one had a good mixture of like good fantasy of you in space and horror. Because I was still scared at some points. I was
I was scared. The nursery and stuff in the second one.
And the third one is like...
The third one's not fucking almost nothing scary in it. Like, they give you so many weapons right off the bat, so much power, so much health. I don't think I ever finished that game with less than 2 bars full of health.
I kept sending you pictures because I had to keep putting my fucking health packs away in the fucking storage.
Did you ever store it? I didn't fucking store anything in that game. I dropped all my small health packs.
You just left them all?
Yeah.
I literally just like hoarded a million ammo and a million health packs.
Did you ever use the rolling?
The rolling? Just for fun. I never used it.
Never used actually.
I never used it in fucking combat.
More, yeah.
Where like, someone would be like, Isaac, come over here. I'd be like, okay, and I just start rolling there. But yeah. The first game, in your opinion, still holds up.
It still holds up a lot, yeah.
It's a game I want to play after playing 3.
It feels better because, like, the suits that he's wearing and stuff, like, the controls feel clunkier.
He only has one suit in that game, right?
I think so, yeah.
You just, like,
you can upgrade to it now. Yeah. And when you add armor, I like the first game more. When you add armor, you can see it, too. Like, you see the changes to the suit and stuff. And the first game's controls are clunkier, but they're supposed to be clunky. He's a fucking mechanic in a huge metal suit!
It's tank controls.
He's not supposed to, like, roll around and do somersaults in a suit that weighs, like, hundreds of pounds, I'd imagine.
They should make the power armor in Fallout 4
like
that.
It makes perfect sense why it's clunky. It wasn't, like, clunky just to be clunky. It makes perfect sense. He's an engineer. He's not, like, a combat soldier.
So, given your history with Dead Space 1, I haven't played it. I just watched that Let's Play like half a decade ago.
I don't think it was a long game, if I remember.
No. You liked Downfall. Let's talk about the movies now. You liked Downfall.
Can we talk about the last boss of the Dead Space 1? You know what the last boss was? Do you remember? The big tentacly brain monster who came up. You were fighting him outside the ship.
No, I don't remember.
No? The last boss in all the Dead Space games have seemed to be the same. It was, you were outside of the ship of the Ishimura, and I don't know how you got there, I forget. But it was like a bunch of... I think it was called the Hive Mind, or the Hive. And it was like what was connected to the ship, because you had to like blast it off the ship at first. And there was like huge tentacles, and it like sucked you in and stuff. Like it was a massive boss, and it didn't really feel... It was a good boss fight, but it didn't feel right. But I guess...
It didn't feel like it stuck with the themes.
I guess, but how do you make a last boss fight when the enemies are like that? It does make sense compared to the story.
Oh, you have corpse monsters? What about a big corpse monster?
Well, when we get to Dead Space 2, you'll see how it makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the movies then, because I fucking hated Downfall with a passion.
Was that the only 2D one?
Yeah, that's the one that had the same animation style throughout.
All the way?
It looks like a fucking Saturday morning cartoon with gore in it. Like a bad Saturday morning cartoon, but with just lots of gore.
Okay, so to preface that... To preface? Whatever. There's one
No one gives a shit. We're Canadian. We say things wrong anyway.
Downfall is all 2D animation. It's just straight 2D animation, and it is like Saturday morning cartoon.
It looks bad.
Yeah, it doesn't look.
It might be like the.
Did you see proportions on the main girl when she puts on the jacket? Her shoulders are like.
Did you? Okay.
Huge, and the black guy, that's part of their. That's part of the girls' security group.
Yeah.
He's fucking massive.
I know.
He's like 8 feet tall, and he's like 3 times as wide as any of them.
That's why it's so cartoony. Did you notice that, like, okay, being in the movie, the first thing that really bugged me was she throws her coat on, and
that was when she got big.
Yeah, well, like, she's like just sitting at her computer. Well, the first scene is these people discover the mark or whatever on the planet. I don't really remember a lot of this movie because it's shitty. I
remember the middle and onward. The beginning, it felt like for the first 20 minutes there was no necromorphs or anything.
Well, there wasn't.
Yeah. I remember. They went back up in the ship. They brought the one guy and his girlfriend brought one of the face bat things.
The Bat Boys?
Yeah, up into the ship.
Those are the guys who climb on people's like dead bodies' heads and shoot them full of necromorphs.
That was not a thing in 3 either.
No, they had the baby heads that like latched onto people.
It's not the same. They had those in 2 too.
You kept saying this, but I don't think they are there.
No, they are. They are there. I swear to God.
Remember them.
I swear to God, because I remember I watched a YouTube clip of all the Dead Space death montages, and there was one where the baby head could like knock your head off and take the place, and Isaac would like twitch around. It was in either 1 or 2, or both, but they were there. They weren't just in 3.
I don't remember that. Anyway. Oh yeah, the first thing that bugged me about this movie was it has a lot of good voice actors in it.
Yeah.
People I recognize. The guy who played the Burn Man in Fault in New Vegas, Keith Saber-Jibba-Jibba, who's in like A Perfect World and a lot of other movies. He does a lot of the ghoul voices in Fallout 4.
The ghouls.
Yeah, and he's in there as the Doctor. And then like a lot of people, you wouldn't know their name, but you'd recognize
the
them from
voice.
other things.
Yeah, I got
like,
that too.
The guy who does a lot of voices in like Disney cartoons in the 90s, like DuckTales and shit. He did the captain in that. What the fuck was his name?
Oh Christ, I don't know.
Captain Matthias. I think
he was. Both movies had like a Welsh captain, didn't they? He was like Scottish or something, wasn't he? In Downfall.
I don't remember.
Both of them, I remember that because I rented them on YouTube and watched them back to back. I wanted to get the 1080p. Everywhere I found was 420p with Arabic subtitles.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I just watched
some free leaked version
of this because I'm not giving them money to watch this.
It was $4. It was $4.
Like if it was good, here's my thing. Like I don't mind piracy, guys. I have 700 movies. We're in my basement right now. I'm surrounded by Blu-rays and DVDs, and I don't pirate those. But like,
if you pirate a 2008 Dead Space film, they're not gonna get those monetization rights on it.
And I probably would. Like, here's the thing. I probably would have gave them some money if I felt like the experience was worth it. But this,
I heard one movie was good over which.
I like the second one more. Because
the second one made me laugh.
Well, going through this movie, I'm not going to go through like
the plot points
because it's not worth it. But what are some things that stuck out to you from Downfall? The animation's real bad.
Well, at first I thought the Necromorphs animation on the Necromorphs was like, oh, that's really creepy. They're jittery. But that was just low frame rate because they weren't really animating it. I was like, oh, it's jittery.
Here's my other problem with Downfall. They have a lot of the Necromorphs. They only have 2. They have the
bat ones, the big fat guys.
Do they have the bat boys?
Yeah.
They have the hive guys? They have the fat guys
with the swords, the slashers, and the bat guys that they have like 3.
They don't
I remember.
They don't have Bulbasaurs. Or dog boys.
I don't think so.
Or
unless you saw them. No, I don't. You didn't.
And here's the other thing: they don't use any. They have the spine things.
They don't use them.
I know.
They would wrestle with people and not use them.
Well, here's the thing:
that too.
It's like one of the beginning scenes. The main girl. What the fuck is her name? Alyssa. She's like sitting there in like a wife beater. And she just like. Doesn't have a spine thing, and then throws her coat on,
and she has
the spine thing's attached to the coat.
Yeah, it tells you your life gauge.
But I'm assuming like in the lore, it's probably attached to you. Attached to your spine.
Yeah, in 3 you can. I don't know where I saw it. I think you can see Ellie with it in 3 without a coat on or something. Yeah, they're attached to you.
Yeah, Ellie. Fuck, I hate Dead Space 3. Her fuck. She has this low cut shirt on the entire time, and just a spine thing.
Tits.
Ugh.
Sexualized.
Yeah, and they don't use any like plasma cutters or like line guns or anything. They use like
the lightsabers.
They use shitty lightsabers.
Yeah. What about the big? What was his name?
Okay, I have his name.
The chief.
Samuel Irons.
I knew it, so I forgot, but I remember what it was.
Fucking horrible.
Samuel Irons.
Who's the only unitologist in this film.
No, there was a lot more.
Well, there's like
they didn't do anything.
But he was the only one who like was like grabbing at his marker on his neck and fucking
praise the marker. Yeah. Well, he also like.
Oh, they have fucking. Here's the 2 things they have. They have chunky lightsabers and they have space pickaxes.
Oh, I liked the space pickaxes. I was like, that's pretty neat. And then I think they used them once, and I don't think I ever saw it again.
Yeah, it's the one. It's like when the doctor lady who found the marker literally kills herself with it. And my note is, why do they let people have space
just
like laser pickaxes
around? And I like how it has no guardrail or anything on anything in that universe. It's just the dude's lightsaber had nothing on it. It was just a big, huge sword.
Do you want to have one of my favorite in quotations quotes from this film that I actually wrote down? Hell of a lot of blood, but no parties. And then This is when the blue-haired lady's talking about the gruesome scenes they're finding.
Oh,
she says,
and
hell of a lot of blood,
yeah.
no parties. And then the dude who gets killed first says, sounds like
Yeah.
your sex life. That's the level of
He
writing.
made the same joke like twice, I think. He said it shortly after that.
Fucking horrible.
Okay, nothing really stands out in that movie to me. It was a sort of slog to get through. The one scene that was really fucked up to me, her gruesome fucking death scene.
The blue girl?
That
It's
was
so comical, though.
I know,
It's
but
so
like that
unrealistic.
caught me so off
Like
guard.
the guy who has marker sickness, because that makes you
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Literally, like, cuts her in half.
I know.
And then the half flops over.
I don't know why it was like that though. Why it was shot like that? It was so weirdly
Because
gruesome.
this is gore porn for kids who watch cartoons on Saturday
Okay,
mornings.
this guy stabbed a laser sword in behind out of nowhere on this blue-haired girl, and it was a close-up of her face, like screaming and crying, and then he dragged it down her body while she's just.
Oh, it was up. He went through her head
Oh
last.
yeah, she did, or he did.
So you could get that nice scene
Yeah,
of her,
she
like,
was just
tears falling from her face as her
bloody
head
and
gets
crying and
split in half.
screaming, and then she fell on the ground, and then I don't know how...
Warning, these games aren't for everybody.
That was weirdly gruesome to me. Like, I don't give a fuck about violence and stuff, but stuff like that came out of nowhere.
It seems like unnecessary.
Well, yeah,
That
it seems like
it
they
seems
did it to be
gore
like,
porn.
remember, this is gruesome. And
Oh,
then the
remember that-
necromorphs like punch each
Remember
other.
that
and don't
fucking
use
scene
clothes.
with all those people in the shower? There's
Oh,
just
yeah,
that
the
fat
dude's
naked
dick.
guy running, and then you see his dingus,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
for-
why am I seeing
Yeah,
this?
it
And then
was
they
out
get
of nowhere.
murdered. He gets murdered, and there's
the
like
girl runs through
the
the
girl hanging out in
yeah.
the locker, and she gets stabbed in the doorway. Oh, this movie's bad.
Were those people weren't people we knew, right? They were
No,
just,
it was literally just a scene
Of people
where you saw
dying?
naked people die in a shower.
I'm really surprised. I was expecting her towel to fall off,
Me
and it
too.
didn't. Yeah,
That's the level of
yeah.
respect I gave to this
I
movie.
was expecting her towel to fall off. and
I guess
was
that
like,
scene
oh,
does
it
have a
didn't.
point, because before they were tracking the life signs on the colony, like on Aegis 7.
I thought that
and
made
they were
sense.
Like, but here's the thing, they were like, oh, there's no life signs on the planet. And then people start to die.
And then they're
on
like,
their
oh yeah,
fucking ship.
now we can see
And no
the
one's
death.
checking it.
Yeah.
And then you have the shower scene, they're like, oh, a bunch of people just died in the showers. Oh shit, everyone else is dying across the ship.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I don't get those, like, back things. It's like, if you get a paper cut, stuff like that, like just normal cuts, does it show up?
Why is it on your back? Why wouldn't it be like on your arm?
So you could see it?
Here's the thing, you can't put too much logic on
On the
that.
Dead Space games, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first movie, let's just...
Well,
They fought a bunch of necromorphs, they
Well-
saved some people.
it's like Alien, basically.
It was for nothing, right? She died at the
They all died.
Every single person? Didn't some of them get away?
No, they all died.
Oh wait, yeah, because she backed up against the marker at the very end, and then they
And she
couldn't
gets
get
shot
to
in
the markers.
space.
And then they got shot in space, and then it used from Dead Space 2 the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: is that like it is a bunch of scenes of characters you don't like, except Samuel Irons. I fucking love Samuel Irons.
Irons.
This is my one note in here. Samuel Irons is a badass. Wish we played as him in the first game. I wish he was like a
Samuel
DLC
Irons
character.
DLC. Being a unitologist in one of the games, that'd be an interesting thought. I don't know how it would work. 'Cause
I like the undercurrent of religion in this, because
Yeah.
like that'd be a fun thing to do.
Scientology.
Well, yeah, but like
Yeah.
as like you discover more about the market, being like, oh, my faith is shitty.
Yeah. I don't know. It had good thoughts for like a background world. Okay.
Well, the whole plot, the whole crisis of fucking Downfall was that the captain and the
Was
doctor were
a-
unitologists
yeah.
trying to find the marker, and then the
He
captain
had so many options to go home.
and the captain starts freaking out, and he gets stabbed with the
needle?
needle by
Yeah.
the doctor.
And then, I don't know if everyone was against the doctor at that point, but immediately the doctor is trying to help him. He did that by accident. The captain fell on him.
Oh yeah,
and then
the guy who says he's a pilot, the
Yeah.
fat pilot, and,
and
the
then
dude
everyone's
with
like,
glasses.
yeah, the dude. I remember the dude with glasses. He was a skinny guy. Everyone immediately pointed at the doctor and was like, he killed the captain. When 2 seconds ago they were trying to help him as well. I don't know if like there was tones before it that I didn't catch. They hated that guy
Well,
or what?
here's the thing that's so lazy about this film is that one half of it is Alien,
Okay,
because it's the security team trying to fight their way
Yeah,
through the
yeah.
ship and like save a bunch of people.
I didn't know any of their names.
There was Alyssa
That was
and
the main
Samuel
girl.
Irons,
And Samuel
and then
Irons, and he
Ramirez.
wasn't even-
And Ramirez, the guy who dies for no reason.
Was Ramir the white guy?
No, he was the Spanish guy who was like fucking with the
Oh,
door, and he,
yeah,
and he tries to
yeah,
scream
yeah.
out as much stuff about his life before he dies.
And she didn't give a fuck.
And
She
she's
didn't
like,
care.
Ramirez, come in here, you dumb bitch! And then he
She
dies.
told him to shut up. when he was talking about that, she was like, now's not the time to talk about this.
And then fucking Samuel Irons dies. He says, I'm not a hero, just a man. And then dies fighting all these necromorphs for these nerds that die anyway.
But before that, he was mowing down necromorphs, like, left and right. He was, like, running between piles of necromorphs and slicing them, and then he dies to, like, a couple of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. The necromorphs in there are really underpowered, considering they just punch you and don't use claws. Does.
Okay, see, I watched the free version. I want to ask you a question.
Because
like, Samuel Irons goes down,
okay,
and there's, like, a 2-second shot where you see, like, his orange jumpsuit leg, and his zombified foot, and it's, like, running or something. But then you don't see Samuel Irons in the rest of the version I watched. Does Samuel Irons come back as a necromorph? Okay, that's a fucking useless shot then. Dumb as fuck.
No, that'd be cool though. But no one would.
Here's my notes. Samuel goes down like a champ in order to save a bunch of nerds. Ramirez gets some cheap characterization in, which has when he hacks the door, then he kills himself.
Like that could have gone a little bit further because I did think it was interesting. It was interesting related to the movie, but
it was a nice blip.
It was nothing,
on a sea of shit.
Yeah.
And then she falls asleep in front of the marker while the
dudes are just all looking at her.
Yeah, and then she sees Ramirez's Force Ghost come in.
Oh yeah, I thought that.
And he's just like, "You've got to do this," and then
kill yourself.
And then she sends the message, like the distress beacon and the message that you see at the beginning.
Because that's how the second one. Yeah.
And then the Ishimura comes in to help them, and then it's like, "No, go play Dead Space."
Yeah. Did anyone watch that movie and then be like, "I'm gonna go and buy Dead Space"?
I have not done any research on.
Like it was a promotional thing, right?
Yeah, but like I've not done any research on like.
Where it was aired or anything?
Who watched it? Like, I'm assuming it was Cartoon Network at like 9 a.m. on a Saturday.
9 a.m. Fuck that! It was probably.
I mean, that's a joke.
Teletoon at night.
Oh yeah.
It was probably Teletoon at night, and it was yeah. They don't do that anymore, which I'm glad, because those movies are shit. Okay.
They used to show a lot of good movies on Teletoon at night. They used to show. That's the first time I watched. I used to watch Teletoon at night. We're Canadian. I used to watch Teletoon at night when I was like 13, and before then, that's the first time I watched like Sin City, and like a bunch of movies like that that I wasn't allowed to watch, and they'd show those, and they were good. Do they still do Teletoon at night?
If I had to guess,
it's probably just Family Guy.
Probably, yeah. It's Family Guy. It's Family Guy, American Dad.
I remember when I was a kid, I was like 12, 13, 14, they had Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Futurama.
What's Yvonne of the Yukon?
No, that's YTV. I'm talking about Teletoon at night. Bitch.
I know, I get
they had Squidbillies. They had like...
I never liked Squidbillies.
I didn't like it that
fuck
much.
This.
I liked it because it was... Well, these are tangents. These are quality podcast bits, Dan. Squidbillies.
I never liked that. I found it so fucking gross.
Robot Chicken. I watched Robot Chicken when I was a kid. It's not good now, looking back on it, but...
Well, have you seen, like... Do you have Adult Swim liked on Facebook? The shit that they do now is disgusting.
Like, how do you mean?
They do, like, horrendous shows. It's like... There's like one... There's a show called Mr. Pickles... And it's about a satanic dog or something that the whole show is just him killing things.
Well, that sounds a lot like Squid.
It's shit. Like Adult Swim's really bad now.
I'm trying to remember Rick and Steve, the two.
Rick and Morty?
No, it was like Rick and Steve.
No,
the two gay Lego men.
I know what you're talking about.
Show.
I know what you're talking about.
There's some weird shit on Teletoon tonight. Probably stuff I shouldn't be watching as a 12-year-old.
It's affected you now to get you to this moment.
Yeah, but that's
talking about 2011's. Dead Space
Aftermath. So this came out
2011.
That was a good transition, Dan. Kudos. Okay, so this came out before Dead Space 2. I'm assuming in the same way Downfall
probably
came before Dead Space 1.
It obviously
just
came
don't watch
before.
These films.
The ending is the start of Dead Space 2 when he's in the cryopod.
Yeah, just like the ending of
Aftermath. The exact same thing.
Downfall is the beginning of Dead Space 1.
Okay, so it opens up.
Did you like this as much as Downfall? Because you kept flip-flopping.
I think
it's a better film.
I think it's a better film overall.
Film.
The animation
has better voice acting.
It doesn't have better fucking animation. Okay, the 2D parts are strictly better than the 2D parts. Yeah, in
the 4 different. How many different kinds? I think there's 4 because there's
no.
There's 4 interrogations, and in each interrogation they use.
The
gimmick of this film is like the main part of the film is this like really bad 3D animation.
It's so. fucking bad, dude.
Like, I've seen worse than that, but this movie's from 2011.
2011, and it was a promotional video.
Yeah, that animation's not good. But then
it was so everyone was so smooth and glossy.
Well, the third line of this movie is that there's 4 survivors from this marker outbreak
on Aegis 7. Aegis 7.
Well, they went back to Aegis 7 to
Yeah. Was it
research
Aegis
the
7?
marker pieces. Yeah, Aegis 7.
Yeah.
I'm sure people will scream at us in the comments if we get the planet.
I feel like it's Aegis 6.
I think it's 7.
I don't know. I don't care. So yeah, they went back to the planet because they had to get all these little niblets of
Yeah,
the
well,
marker.
that's the church wanted the niblets of the marker, and it's the 4 people who survived the ship that went over there.
Yeah, they're being interrogated by. They were pro-unitology people. Yeah,
they were the government.
Yeah,
they were
EarthGov. Yeah.
So, yeah, in each interrogation of the 4 characters, there's a different kind of animation, and some of the animation's really good.
Yeah, no, some of it was pretty surprised by it. But every time it ended and it went back to that CG, I dreaded seeing their glossy porcelain doll eyeballs.
Their Toy Story-esque proportions and
their
reactions.
Play-Doh hair. Like, that blonde girl, she had Play-Doh strings for her hair, dude.
I actually remember the characters of this.
I couldn't tell you any one of their names. Actually, no, I could. The black guy that yells at his daughter.
There's Alejandro.
Was that the guy with the robot arm?
Yes.
Yeah. I found he was sad.
Isabel, which is
the doctor.
Yeah, the doctor.
Yeah.
Strauss, which we all know Strauss. And Nicholas Kuttner. That's the big guy who has the daughter.
Who's Strauss?
Strauss is the guy in Dead Space 2.
Oh, okay. Oh,
so it's the 4 of them.
Oh,
so Strauss is like
I just connected those.
So Strauss is a doctor, like a medical doctor or something.
They freeze him away, yeah.
Yeah, and Alejandro is or Borges is a technician or something.
Yeah. The one girl's a nurse.
Isabel is a doctor like Strauss,
yeah.
but I think she's at the same level.
No.
And Nicholas Kuttner's a heavy, like a guy they used to like. The guy they used for like protection and shit.
Yeah.
I think that's what he does. I'm not
think
too sure.
so, because otherwise he had no really point to going.
And the other thing you gotta realize about this, it looks more expensive than Downfall.
Yeah.
Downfall looks like it was made.
Well,
like EA was like, fuck it, here's $1 million, make a shitty movie.
$1 million. Fuck, I hope that's not the budget.
That's
Holy
probably
shit.
more of this. You should look it up.
I will, but I hope that's not the budget. No, Aftermath. Wow, the first 4 holy shit.
2.5 million. Go look up Downfall's budget. That's just a quick Google. We don't know if that's right, but
oh wow, it doesn't even have a pop-up. That's probably not that great.
Yeah. Well, scroll down to production. It doesn't even have
it.
Yeah.
So anywhere between $0 and $2.5 million.
I'm assuming it's probably.
I think it was less because the animation wasn't as
well,
good.
no, it's certainly less than Aftermath, but.
Okay, I liked how the story was shown. How it would you get different tidbits of people that were in different areas on this ship and on the planet, because it would flip flop back and forth between the characters. I liked that portion of it. I didn't like how they tried to make you feel for the black guy because he kept having flashbacks to his daughter.
Well, we're introduced to this character. We're introduced, the beginning of the film is all 4 characters together.
Oh yeah,
on the planet,
and he
shoots some Marines. Oh, I wanted to say that they actually use plasma cutters and armor from Dead Space.
But they
2.
use something. Yeah,
they don't. They use a couple weird things, I think, in this movie.
Overall,
but there's a lot of weapons. They use the pulse rifle. They use the plasma cutter. They use a lot of stuff from Dead Space 2, which is nice. It's a step up from chunky lightsabers.
Chunky native man with lightsaber that apparently is common supply around there because everyone has one.
Yeah, so they're all captured and they use advanced. The main interrogator is this string beam man. He's bald and he's an asshole, and his boss is the president of Earth or something. I don't fucking care. And he uses advanced interrogation tactics.
I thought that was sort of neat.
Yeah,
but they didn't.
Where they scan your brain, see what you're scared of the most, and
they didn't do anything with it though. It's just well,
they did do something with it with Strauss. That's funny.
Oh yeah, the claustrophobia.
Yeah,
and it's too bad he's going in the coffin in real life. Yeah, I remember there was a part in the second one or the first one. I forget exactly. It might have been the second one. They're on the planet. It was definitely in the second one because they hopped down it. Mm-hmm. It was in the second one. They looking at a ledge, and one of the dudes was like, "Watch your footing, everyone." and then he hopped down really quickly, like 50 rocks, and jumped down a fucking 90-degree slope.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, okay. Watch your footing, everyone. And I just thought that was real, like...
The plot of this is, like, there's a ship of people. They're not on a planet cracker like they were in the first movie. They're like on a reconnaissance
They're just,
ship.
yeah.
They literally
small.
are just leading a team down to the surface to, like...
Get everyone... They were driving the whole movie, too, because they arrived at the Spire.
There's, like, a team of, like, the 4 people we talked about and some other people who
Yeah.
die, so it doesn't matter, who go down the surface, and they're supposed to look for geological
Pieces of the
instability.
Marker,
Well, that's the... When
Yeah,
they talk to
they don't-
Strauss and
yeah.
Dr. Cho and Kuttner and say, like, yo, we're getting marker pieces.
If you had contact with them, then they only keep people that had contact with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
they
much to
find.
say about
So
these
Kuttner
movies.
finds a marker piece, immediately
Yeah.
gets marker sickness, and then Strauss explains later on that he's smart, so he doesn't get marker sickness.
He's like, only some scientists are smart enough. They have 200 IQ to get it.
As opposed to
But-
poor Kuttner, who's just like, my
Dumb,
daughter.
Okay, how the fuck did his daughter die? She got hit by a car?
Yes.
She got hit by a car and her neck spun around 360 degrees and shot off like a corkscrew
It's a
into
space
the air.
car, Dan. This is the year 2500 or something.
Okay, I liked the second one because he killed the one dude's friend. He killed the robot man's
Yeah, well,
friend.
in the series, I'm just gonna talk like brief. The plot,
Spoilers,
the plot
fuck it,
that's
we've already talked
revealed
about
in
it,
the
it doesn't
interrogations is like they go down to the surface.
Okay.
Kuttner finds a marker piece, immediately goes insane.
I like how quickly it is.
He literally touches it,
touches
goes,
it, and
goes
then
insane.
goes fucking crazy.
Kills Borges's cousin who's playing God of War on his space PSP.
It was like God of War, Dante's Inferno. Or
I didn't know if
something.
it,
it was
like-
just generic.
Yeah.
Dante's Inferno was made by EA, I think.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they made Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, that like side scroller.
Oh God.
Because I remember
Gonna
looking at the
do some
YouTube
quick-
comments.
Some quick googling.
I know it's not important, but I remember seeing Electronic Arts.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
made
It was
it?
Dante's Inferno.
Oh,
Visceral Games. Yeah, there you go.
Visceral Games.
That makes the movie. Everything passes past this point. I knew.
Oh, so it's a Dante's Inferno reference.
Yeah.
I
It
don't
was a
fucking
shitty
care.
Dante's Inferno reference.
So, and then Kuttner is insane, thinks everyone is monsters, and shoots Borges' cousin.
He shoots his cousin, snaps out of it, and then immediately walks over and goes, "Did the monsters do this?"
And then he gets punched.
And then he gets punched. And that dude has fucking... That dude could have been killing necromorphs like left and right. He punched that guy like 50
We
feet.
had a robot arm.
I know, but like... Everyone should have robot arms if they're that good and that strong.
Anyway, so, and then the planet starts to collapse because it's been...
Yeah,
because the
it
planet
fucks
crashed.
up immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people die, like the Russian guy.
Oh, yeah.
He gets burnt.
A bunch of people
and
die.
Then the guy, the unitologist who's like, I believe in a higher power. He immediately burns up in the lava.
And the nurse girl doesn't... One of the nurses, like, fall into the lava because she doesn't hold on.
It
or
wasn't a
something.
nurse. It was the hot-headed pilot woman.
Oh,
who immediately
yeah.
dies.
Yeah.
Who falls into a crevice.
And the captain, like, tosses up the piece of the marker and sits in the fire and stuff.
That's the end.
No, that's the beginning. That's
No,
the...
the captain doesn't die there.
Okay, not the captain, but the guy who gets engulfed by flames.
Yeah, that's the
other guy
pilot
talking
guy
about, yeah.
who's like, I believe in a higher power. And
I
he burns
believe in
up
a higher
He
power.
burns up the magma. So a bunch of them get.
Unitology's a dumb religion.
Scientology is a dumb religion.
That's true.
Quick
Quick
takes.
tips.
So they get on the shuttle, go back to the ship, and everything goes haywire.
How does a necromorph get on? Oh, wait, no, never mind. There's
well,
not even...
they bring the marker piece up and it starts infecting people. A lot of dumb stuff happens. We were introduced to the captain, who's a good character, better than the captain in Downfall.
Yeah.
I actually liked him a lot.
Yeah.
It's revealed that Strauss and Dr. Cho, is that her name?
I think that's right. Chow?
No, Isabel Cho.
Chow.
They're
Garden?
having a affair from Strauss's wife and son.
That affair scene was weird.
Yeah.
He had, like, 12 abs.
Yeah, there's all everything.
I know you've never watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but he looked like a character. It's some anime where everyone's like masculine and so huge. He had like abs starting at his collarbones all the way down, and her body,
There's some dick abs right
her,
there.
her tits were like huge. It was so bizarre. Why were they that big? It looked so weird.
The animation was changing. It's different styles and stuff.
Yeah,
right,
I
too,
guess.
but, like,
Everyone
Anyway.
was real angular.
I forget what. Like, there's a lot of nothing, and then Strauss goes insane. from experimenting with the marker. He gets marker sickness too, but he thinks he's smart, so he believes everything he's doing is right, and murders.
Follow my baby girl down this shaft.
Murders his fucking wife and plump baby child. Like, as soon as you saw the animation for the kid, how it's so cute and shit.
Yeah, you're like,
it's like this ripe, like, child that is immediately eviscerated by Strauss. And
they find Strauss after he killed his wife and kid, and then the girl doesn't really care that much.
Well, she does.
Yeah, but she still is like, next scene,
on,
let's go.
Because they're escaping a fucking necromorph hive. So the 4 characters are escaping with the captain. I think there's other characters with them too that die. But
yeah, probably.
They get to like the place they find them. The captain sacrifices himself to save them. And yeah, that's how they end up at the beginning. But through the interrogations, Borges dies, so he doesn't avenge his... I really like his storyline, because he talks about his cousin dying and how he wants to avenge him, and he immediately gets murdered by the
sort of sad.
He immediately gets murdered by the fucking interrogation guy.
It made me sort of sad, because he was like, I'm going home, back to the spire, and he's like, yeah, we're here. And he walks out and shoots him in the head. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's sort of sad.
They want to take Kuttner, but he goes insane and shoots himself out in space after his daughter.
And it sings this, doesn't it sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star for a second? I don't know. His daughter was... Also, he's a legend. Speaking of nothing else, he got shot like 4 times in the chest, and he was still going.
He's like a beef boy.
I guess.
He's a big man. And he gets launched out in space.
Those Marines are stupid, by the way.
They're like stormtroopers.
They're nothings. They took like 5 minutes running to him from the hallway to the elevator, and then
don't hit the button! And they get shot up in space.
They saw him reaching for the button, and they were like, "Let's get him before something."
I have to say that there's actual like funny bits in this movie that made me laugh. Part of it was not intentional. I like seeing
all them getting ejected into space.
Part of it was not intentional. The other half was like actual like funny shit that was in it. But
he dies, and then it's
Strauss thinks he has like ESP from touching the marker. Like he thinks he can feel like other people living and shit, which maybe he can. I don't know. They throw him in a coffin, and for Dead Space 2, and then they do Isabel Cho's. Is that her name?
Yeah, Isabel.
Isabel Cho's interview, and then they're like, You haven't been touched by the marker, but you're cool as fuck. We want you to join our team.
Yeah.
And she's dumb, and she's like, no. And they blame
everything on her.
They literally don't just blame what happened on her ship to her. They blame her for what happened on the Ishimura and what happened on Aegis 7 on this one woman with a gun.
I like the picture that they used for it, too. It's just her shooting a gun, and it's like, oh, she did everything now, I guess. Do you have any more notes about the second one, or can we move on? Because it was pretty shitty. Both of them weren't that good at all. The first one was pretty boring to watch.
The first one, okay, don't ever watch the first one. It is a bad film.
Nothing went on. You could watch the second one and not even know there was
Unless you want to watch the guy from DuckTales and fucking Joshua Graham from Fallout New Vegas stab each other choke each other and stab each other with hypodermic needles. Don't watch that movie. Yeah. The second one, if you really like Dead Space,
you can watch it.
You can watch it.
Oh, talking about, before we move on from not the movies, the second one had weird necromorphs. They weren't even necromorphs. What were they?
I don't remember what they were.
They
have.
Did they have other species on the ship? Because they didn't look like people.
There's only human beings.
They didn't look like aliens. People. Like
they have like spider boys. They have like
They have spider ones, but the like.
Dead Space.
Downfall. No, Aftermath. Yeah. Like, let me see if I can. In it. Yeah, weirdly. They didn't look like like, what is that?
That's supposed to be a Bulbasaur.
Yeah, but that's not a human.
Well, the like Bulbasaurs.
These ones, those don't look like people at all.
Oh, they're cool.
They just look weird to me. Like,
they look like cool designs.
I guess. At least it was
different.
That's
supposed to be a Bulbasaur.
Like, at least it was different. That's something you can say about it. The first movie was just like that. It was just every single necromorph had intestines as a little stomach and little ribs.
And they had blades.
And blades that they never used.
And they had the hive guys.
And that thing. Just kidding. That wasn't in anything. Oh, yeah, the baby. Oh, yeah. They had that thing for 1 second in the first one.
Oh, they did have a Bulbasaur.
Yeah, for 1 second. I
fucking remember it.
It came out of nowhere. I wonder if that was like some...
But they had angular tits in Downfall.
Yeah, see?
Or in
like this picture right here.
That's a suggestive picture.
Yeah.
This is really good for an audio podcast.
Pretty bad movie.
I'd say, like, it's watchable if you like Dead Space.
It's watchable if you like Dead Space.
It's only an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah. It's not watchable if you're like, I'm a sci-fi fan.
Ah, yes, I am a connoisseur of
We watched Dead
science fiction.
Space Downfall, Aftermath.
The Citizen Kane of video game movies.
Okay, can we talk about like something better now?
Yes,
Talked
let's
about
talk about
the
Dead
first one.
Space 2.
Second one I like.
Dead
I like
Space
the second
2,
one.
that's some quality shit.
Yeah, it's really.
This is one of the few games, because when I was 6 years ago or whatever, when I was a bit younger than you, I didn't have a lot of games. All I had was my 360 and a shitty...
All I had was Pac-Man and Dead Space 2.
All I had was literally Fallout New Vegas, Skyrim, and probably Dead Space 2 and a
Saying you had
few
Skyrim
other
6
games.
years ago sounds real weird. Like saying you had that game 6 years ago when
Dead
it just keeps coming out.
Skyrim's old, dude.
Yeah.
I had like all those games, maybe 6 or 7 games, a 360, and my shitty CRT TV.
You played Dead Space 2 on a CRT TV?
Yeah, when I first played it.
Huh.
And that's all I played was fucking Dead Space. And I love Dead Space. I don't usually play through a story game like...
Did you do the new
I literally like...
It had a lot of
I
stuff
played through
to
the
do.
first one, and I did the other difficulties.
Yeah,
and I
it
was
had a
playing
lot of
through
stuff
them,
to do.
And it was a lot of fun. Because
Yeah.
it felt like...
Felt
the first,
different.
The first time you go through Dead Space 2, it's challenging, scary, and stuff. But the second time you go through, you carry all your items over. So you're literally like bulking up to take on the harder difficulty level. And you know where all the scares are, know where everything is. So it's really like a test of memory and skill. It's
That's what
fun.
the third one is, hate to tell you. At the end of the third one, you unlock a bunch of new modes and new difficulty, new game
fuck that.
plus.
Yeah, fuck that.
And in there, I was listening to a review to see what they had to say about it. I think it was just like an IGN review. And the dude was like, yeah, I really liked Dead Space 3 because after I could go through and not care about the story, I had a lot of fun just playing
Just
with it.
shooting
And I was
necromorphs
like,
in the face because I have no brain.
I was like, oh. Okay.
Well, Dead Space 2. I like the intro a lot.
I like the intro a lot, too. It was my favorite intro of all the games.
You literally, you get this intro video of him talking to Nicole. You have the interview with him and the doctor. When they're...
Doctor's face
So he's
rips
supposed to be a
open.
psychiatrist, but they're, drilling marker blueprints out of his brain.
Yeah.
And then you have this guy saving you, and he immediately gets turned into necromorph, and you have to run through the
I thought that was really
psychiatric
cool.
ward as Isaac Clarke in a fucking
no
straitjacket.
ammo, straight jacket, no ability to punch, do anything, and
you're in a straitjacket for a while.
Yeah, I liked it because you saw the necromorph right in front of you. It was like, that's a human. That's scary.
And there's
as
a lot
fuck.
of fun stuff you do because
in the third one, you never see a live human change into a necromorph because then you're like, oh, that's
except
what
for the
those are.
baby heads latching on.
Yeah, I get it. It's not as scary as seeing
No.
someone morph into one the second game.
And there's a lot of cool stuff because you go through in your straitjacket, you get to the doctor, and he's I don't know his name, fuck it,
Yeah,
and he's like, "We're gonna burn for what we did to you," and he slices his throat and slices Isaac's straitjacket open so he can use his arms, and he gets his flashlight, and you have to run around some necromorphs and use telekinesis and poles.
Yeah,
to
you
kill
can
some.
only That's
a really cool tutorial.
No, I thought that was cool. Did you?
And then you get to the part where there's a lot of fun stuff. You get to the part where there's a guy who's undergoing fucking open heart surgery with a plasma cutter, and then you have to hack the thing behind him. That's how they teach you hacking in order to get the plasma cutter.
Yeah.
And then the necromorph comes in and kills the guy, and you have to kill the necromorph. It's fun as fuck.
That was cool. It's a cool. I want to play Dead Space 2 again.
Yeah, Dead Space 2 is fucking good. I'm really glad. When you said you want to do Dead Space 3, I was like, okay, I'll replay Dead Space 2 again. And I didn't think I'd get all the way through it, and I fucking beat it again.
You beat it. Yeah, you beat it 100%.
Because it's good.
Yeah.
And then, well, the beginning of the beginning plot of the game is you're being led along by this woman who, surprise, surprise, is a unitologist.
Yeah.
And so she's leading you into a trap, but you're going through
I do remember
the church,
a
church of unitology. Which is really cool.
Yeah. I liked how unitology isn't a small thing in that world. It's
it's the number
one religion.
Yeah.
And in one, you didn't really hear about it much. You
and
did.
Two,
it was this is a
literal,
city, and this is the church everyone goes to. I like the environment.
One of my favorite things in Dead Space 2 are the stores are really cool, especially the toy stores and shit you go through. You have
I found it cool because it was
you have Trixie's. I write down some of the names because they're good.
What was
Trixie's Fine Candies and Awesome Town.
Awesome
and shit
Town.
like that.
I liked it because it was people lived here up until
you can tell people live there because you go through offices.
Dead Space 3. It's
You go through offices of people who are literally like just at their
Yeah.
jobs at cubicles, and you literally like it's really cool.
Yeah, well, it's
You go through,
better. You can tell people lived there. It's not.
You go through people's literal apartments. And
Well, it's
stuff.
not like a blank level slate, and it's like
It's
a
not a
necromorph's gonna
It's
pop
not
out
a
here.
fucking snowy rock.
It's not like a necromorph's gonna pop out here. It's gonna pop out here.
Oh look, it's a vent.
Yeah.
Surrounded by snow.
Oh, You got up to the ice mountains, yeah? Did you see where they popped out of in the ice mountains in Dead Space 3? How there were like vent-shaped holes
I didn't
of
get that far, I
rock
don't think.
in the ice mountains. It looked like a vent made of ice, and that's all it was.
Anyway, going back to Dead Space 2. Yeah, at the beginning you're led along by this woman who leads you in an obvious
Yeah.
trap, and then she gets fucking bopped by Tideman, or whatever the heck his name is, the main antagonist of the game. She literally is like, Isaac Clarke, we have you now! and he's like, oh, you've led me into a trap. She's like, we're going to store you and make more markers. And then she gets literally obliterated by a machine gun, and you have to run away from the gunship. You're kind of aimless for a bit, then you meet Ellie.
Yeah.
And Ellie's...
And then the love of your life happens.
Yeah. You fall in love as an engineer.
It's true.
With this badass
An
lady.
engineer. Even in the third one, he's making... There's a part in the third one, I think it's near the end.
We
I
keep
don't...
complaining about the third one while talking about other things.
Because it's just... I played it like 2 days ago. I beat it like less than 48 hours ago. There's a part in the third one where after killing like 100 or so necromorphs at the end, Carver says something and then you're like, haha, I'm just an engineer. It's like,
Well,
what?
that's not believable at that point. Because in the second one, you kind of get it. Because literally, he just like fought through like a horrible situation in the first one. He was a prisoner for years and years. He still like he has the mentality of I am an engineer. Like I'm just trying to get through this shitty situation, and you really feel it too. Because in the second one, in all Dead Space games, but in the second one, you never leave Isaac's perspective. Like you're behind his shoulder the entire way.
Yeah.
There's no interlude. There's no cutting or anything like that. It's literally
this
like
is me.
I am Isaac Clarke going through this horrible situation. Yeah, it's good.
I'm trying to think of some moments that I remember in like Dead Space 2. I remember the
Well, you meet
gym
up-
with the babies.
Well, there's lots of good stuff. Like you
Yeah,
meet up
like
with,
there's lots of stuff
there's a
you
part
can
where
remember.
you meet Ellie and she's like fighting behind like on a storefront behind this grate, and she's like fighting off necromorphs, and she teams up with Strauss, and then they lead you through the game. A lot of good set pieces. Like
There's just lots of good set
the
pieces
elementary
you can remember.
school, the baby
Like
blowing
flooding.
up the lady.
Yeah.
The
There's lots of like
the
cool
gymnasium
things.
where all those like preteens jump out at you.
It's like the first one, how it introduced new enemies. It did it in the
Cleverly.
same way. Like it showed you behind a glass wall or something. This is something, and something just died there.
Yeah.
And then it's like, if I go, you're in your mind, you're like, if I go through that door, I know what I'm going to see. I'm going to see what just happened to that girl. It's scary because then it's up to you to go through that door.
It's like the blow up babies.
Yeah,
that was
like
scary when I played it the first time. When
It was
I like,
creepy.
18 or whatever.
Yeah, the little like preteen guys jumping at you that got replaced in the third one.
That like when I first played this game, that was the part that gave me the most trouble.
Yeah,
because I still wasn't that good at playing.
they could
games.
do a lot of
'Cause
damage.
my
to you, too.
background in gaming is I played games at like my babysitter's house, and she had like a Super Nintendo and a GameCube, and I played games at my dad's pawn shop where I played like Spyro
Your
and
dad
stuff.
had a pawn shop?
Yeah. Then I didn't play games for a long time. I just played like Pokemon and stuff on like my Game Boy, and then it was grade 11 where I got my 360,
Really?
and then I started playing like big boy games.
Big man games. I've been playing games for a long
nonsense.
time.
Yeah, no.
I remember like my brother having a PS1. We didn't get a PS2. I bought a PS3. I got an Xbox 360 first, and I think
I
played
skipped
it for a
that
long
generation
time.
too. I
Yeah.
skipped like PS2.
Yeah, I don't know.
Xbox,
And then
Dreamcast, I guess.
now I'm just PC and Nintendo Switch.
You are a glorious master race,
I
and I am a
evolved.
console pleb. Got my.
I wish I had a PS4 though. There's some stuff on that
I
I
got-
really wish I meant.
What do I
like,
have
didn't
right
miss.
now? What's over there? I have a Wii. I had a Wii the whole time, but Wii doesn't count. I just played like Zelda and stuff. I had
I had a Wii too. Now that you talk about it,
I had a Wii. I still have my Wii.
I paid full price for Wii Music. I think that's what it was called, or Wii.
Is it the one where you
Band or
play
something?
drums and shit?
Yeah,
and it's literally broken.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Oh my
It's
God.
the one on the E3 stage or wherever it was. Shigeru Miyamoto came out.
He was like,
his ghost
"Ah!"
came out and was just like putting the Wiimote up and down, playing just like tunes, and it like didn't really match. And everyone was like, "This is a game, okay." But it had a cool case. It was like a gold case.
Yeah, but what the fuck was this thing? Oh yeah, right now I have a Wii, My good old, 360 that isn't the shitty white one that breaks all the time.
I had the shitty white one that breaks all the time.
I have my PS4 that I play every day or watch YouTube videos on. I have my PS3 that my friend Steve, Steve, he gave it to me for free. And it's the fat. It's the fat so I can play PS2 games and stuff, too. And I have PS1 and a Super Nintendo.
Why do they always do that with, new consoles? It did the PS3 as well. The first PS3 could play PS1 and 2 games, right?
Yeah.
And then
No, just PS2 games.
Then they made a new one that couldn't.
Can it play PS1 games? I think it can, too.
I don't know. And then that one, same thing. You could play PS3 game or PS whatever games on it. No, you can't. No. With, PS4.
The PS3... The fat.
Yeah,
the 4 USB in the front that I have fat
one.
has an actual PS2 guts in it.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
why it's backwards compatible. The PS4 is just a PS4. That's why I can't play PS3 games. And the backwards compatibility in the Xbox One right now, it's just...
Isn't it?
It's emulation. It's nothing to do with the hardware. The Wii I have too. I think that has... The Wii's basically a GameCube.
Yeah.
Just with a lot of
better.
It can run games better, and it has just motion control stuff in it. It's not that different from a GameCube.
What about the Kinect in Dead Space 3?
Oh fuck!
Did you use the Kinect?
Let me. I got this copy of Dead Space 3 for $10 at this game store a week ago or something, and it claims it's better with Kinect. But
do you think it's better?
I destroyed my Kinect, so I don't know if that's true. But
God, that was something they really just ended.
Remember 4 years ago when they said you can't have an Xbox One without a Kinect?
Do you remember the demo?
And now the Xbox One X does not have a fucking Kinect port in it.
Do you remember the Kinect Milo demo? I don't know if you know what that is.
That's the David
girl
Cage.
talking on
the David Cage game where it's literally like a boy in your living room on your TV.
Milo, I think it was Milo. Milo, show me a picture. And then the dude's like, Milo can draw many things depending on how his mood is.
That's fucked up.
I remember that. I remember looking at that. And I remember Connectimals. And
I remember that.
Sports, where even on the demos they never really played.
The only time I ever played a Kinect was my brother got a 360 when I was 14, and he brought it down here, and we were playing.
I played it once or twice.
We were playing Kinect Fun Park or something. I don't know what the fuck the game was called.
Fun,
I remember
we were in multiplayer.
Me and my brother were playing, and we're in a pontoon boat.
I know, and you had to
we were going down the river, and me and my brother were trying to jump, but the ceiling's so low. My brother's taller than me. We kept smashing our heads off the ceiling trying to play this game. Kinect was shit.
We're in a shire hole.
Right now we're in my... This is one couch podcast where we're not even on a couch. We're in
this.
This is a
couch?
This is a kitchenette.
Set. Actually?
Yeah, it's like a kitchen bench.
Oh,
this is my old...
Nice,
this is what used to be in my kitchen before that other stuff.
Apparently this is limited edition, I guess, because Dead Space 3 you get...
We're just talking about Dead Space 2 right now. We're just going on a tangent right now. Let's not get on 3.
Okay, get back on 2.
We're talking about...
Sorry, I'm so enthralled.
With the Kinect?
With the Kinect. Okay.
Microsoft isn't.
No, apparently not.
But there's a lot of good set pieces. What else do you remember besides the stuff in the
I remember the ending being fucking cool. And there were the enemies that could regen their arms and stuff and legs when you shot.
The regenerator, basically.
Yeah. And the end of the third one, you had to fight through a couple of them, and they were really. It was cool going to the third or the second one. You had to destroy the marker at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things I remember from 2 is a lot of the school stuff. The school stuff was really good.
Yeah.
And
it transitioned
when
really
Ellie
well.
and Strauss are up on a balcony, and you're fighting a horde of necromorphs as they fight off stuff too. That was a good part.
Yeah.
I like the part where Strauss sticks a fucking screwdriver in Ellie's eye. That was fucked. And I like the ending. Do you remember the part where you had to lance
his eye?
With a needle?
Oh, trust me. I remember that part because I was too young and dumb to comprehend.
I remember when I was a kid and I didn't have Dead Space 2 yet.
Those were the days.
Where I was watching
pre-Dead Space 2.
I was watching YouTube videos, and do you know the ad campaign they used to sell Dead Space 2?
Wasn't it your mom won't like this game?
Your mom will hate this game.
And it was just old white women, and they were like, oh no!
A bunch of different women, but yeah, they were like, this game is the work of the devil. It's the worst thing I've ever seen.
I remember that.
I remember watching that as a 13-year-old being like, oh shit, this is cool. I guess I was 16.
This is the worst game in history.
Yeah.
It was what sick-minded individual would play this? I remember that.
And,
but yeah, the...
And the other... I could found that and the other YouTube videos that were out were literally Isaac's eye being gouged out by that fucking machine.
Well, yeah, Dead Space 2 had a good ad campaign, because it was, It was the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star stuff as well, when it was like going through space real
I don't
quiet.
remember any of that.
You don't remember that?
No.
I remember the commercials would start and it was just like eerie background shots of the space and like the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star rhyme was playing, and it would like quickly flash of like necromorphs twitching real quick and like running up and down
Like,
aisles and stuff.
Spider Boys?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, because it got you interested in it, and it didn't... like, if you played Dead Space, you'd be like, oh, I know what's going to happen, but if you were new, because I'm sure Dead Space 2, like, brought a lot of new people in.
Is it like those... Do you ever see the ads for Bioshock 2? Where it's literally like...
Probably not.
Well, the ads for Dead Space 2 were like a little sister running away from a... Have you played Bioshock 2?
Yeah, played
it was a little sister running away from a big sister. Whatever the fuck they're called in that game. And she's like running away scared, and then you come out as like Subject Alpha, as the big daddy. You literally just like smash a fucking.
Oh, yeah, that does.
So if you know what Bioshock is, you know what's gonna happen. Well,
that's the thing. Like if you don't know, you're like, that looks interesting. But if you have played it,
you're like,
that looks even better.
Cool.
Yeah, I want to get it.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you a single thing about Dead Space 3's advertising.
Have you played the Bioshock games?
I played them all. Yeah, I beat them all too.
What do you feel about
Infinite?
We'll probably do this for a podcast at some point as well.
That'd be a cool trilogy.
How do you feel about Infinite?
I liked it a lot.
I fucking don't like Infinite at all.
I liked it a lot. I found it wasn't what they showed off at game like previews and trailers. You can go back and watch the E3 stuff. People never bring them up on that. You can go back and watch the E3 stuff, and it's completely different. It's almost
people
like a
always
game.
talk about like false advertising and stuff, but if you literally watch the fucking, no one has ever talked about this. Like people that I pay, like Jim Sterling or Total Biscuit or anyone who I follow has never talked about how Ken Levine fucking lied with those gameplay videos, and that's got nothing to do with the game. And even their ad campaign where they're like, you have so much choice, the combat is so dynamic,
it was like
terrible.
Throw a baseball at racist white man, and it was
you
like,
don't get to throw it anyway.
I know, and then any choice you pick, a dude grabs your arm and he's like, hey, wait a second, and he pulls down your sleeve and he looks at it. I liked the third. Well,
do you like better than
Infinite?
Do you like better than Bioshock 2?
I don't think so. I don't really think
I like Bioshock 2 a lot.
I like Bioshock 2 a lot too. I liked the ad campaign for third. If we're talking about ad campaigns still for a little bit, Infinite had such a cool ad campaign to me. Like I liked the song in it.
Yeah, I love that band now because that's
Nico Vega.
I think they're my least. That's my least favorite song of theirs now. But the other songs are fucking great.
I remember listening to that too because I heard it and I was like, "Whoa, who's that?" And it's Nico. I remember him. Nico Vega.
I still listen to their albums all the time.
Back to 2. I don't know. There was just a lot of.
I want to talk about Bioshock more.
No, not now. 2 was just one except overhauled. And you could see it more actiony, but it was still like...
Well, it is more actiony, but it's still like...
There's still a lot of hours of gameplay where it's like, this is still terrifying.
Here's the important thing about Dead Space 2, is that there's actiony moments, like when you're getting attacked by a big monster, and you have quick time events and stuff. Down. And then it's very frantic, and you're like, oh my fucking god! But you have a lot of downtime. Yeah. Right after the false leader girl, who's a hematologist, right after she dies, you have a lot of downtime there when he's figuring out what to do. You have a lot of downtime when he's on the Ishimura. You don't see a necromorph for a long time when he goes on the Ishimura.
That's scary, though.
Yeah, because you're building tension. Which never happens in Dead Space 3, because it's literally necromorphs all the time.
Throwing necromorphs at you. And it was the same. Dead Space 1 and 2, you could just be walking around and hear, like, in the distance, a scream or, like, a growl or something.
Or when you're behind
fucking terrifying.
When you're behind the gate, and then you see people, actual people, getting murdered by necromorphs.
And it was scary.
And then they come out at you through the gate or something. That's cool.
And it was scary. You were like, those things are coming. I can hear them. I know they're there, and it's up to me to go that way.
Yeah.
Dead Space 3, it was like, I'm going to walk over here, and necromorph's going to pop out of the snow.
The only thing that happens like that in the first, like, Dead Space 3 is the beginning when you're running through the streets, and this lady like, oh, don't shoot me! And they're like, where's Isaac Clarke? And she's like, I don't know! And she gets shot in the face, and you go around and kill the guys that kill her. That's about it. That's the only thing I remember from that.
I don't really remember the beginning of that game. I remember
you frantically texting me, being like, why are you shooting guys in the head? This is Dead Space.
Because it starts you with a pistol, right? It starts you with Did you get any limited edition stuff?
I have, like, in this case right now, there's code stuff.
For, like, a special, looks like shitty gun that would be bad in, like, 1 minute.
EG900 SMG, compact but deadly, that I haven't used.
It's probably, like...
And, And and the other thing is a limited edition unlocks.
I hate to tell you, you'll never use it 'cause the code expired 3 years ago, Jim.
Did it?
Yeah.
Well, I never used it this time, so.
Why does the code expire like that?
They usually don't. Like,
yeah. Huh, or whatever.
I think they have expiration notes on it, but I don't think they do. Because Ben gave me a bunch of online passes from when he got his 360 10 years ago, and I used them this summer to play some Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'd never used any of the extra stuff I got with Dead Space 3. I got a plasma cutter, like a special one, because I played Dead Space 2.
You have the same save game data. I played it on PC. I played it with keyboard and mouse.
Oh, yeah, we should say that we played it in different versions. I played on my 360 just on my TV.
I started with a controller. I started with an Xbox One controller, and really shortly after, I was like, I don't really like that. So I played keyboard and mouse, but I'm pretty sure I played the first and second with a controller. I don't know why I didn't like it.
On a console or on your
PC?
On your PC. Okay.
Yeah, I use Xbox One controller.
And you played on Origin and stuff, right?
Yeah, I played on Origins for Dead Space 3.
They don't have it on
reason.
Steam, right?
No, they have Dead Space 1 and 2 on Steam because I played that on Steam. I couldn't tell you why. Yeah, that's I don't know.
Yeah, but I literally played like good old 720p shitty load times 360, and it was fine.
Yeah, my load times weren't bad. The elevators are your loading screens, yeah.
Yeah. Do anything else you want to say about Dead Space
2?
It's a good game.
It's a good game. That's it's still fun. It's still scary.
Out of this one, because I haven't played the first one. Out of this one and 3, I still want to go play Dead Space 3 again.
It's still fun. It's still scary. It's still, you can look at it and be like, this is.
How do you feel about the overall?
I like the story of it. I thought the story was cool. Getting to the end and like having the end was tough. Fighting through like the waves of necromorphs and like the regenerator guys near the marker's core.
The dream.
Yeah. I thought it was cool.
You're fighting your girlfriend and stuff. You're literally fighting your remorse and regret. It's very metaphorical.
Did you ever play it enough to get the handgun? You know what I'm talking about? The foam finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, you played it that much? Yeah. Yeah, I didn't.
I never did that boss with a foam finger though.
No. You can't really say.
I don't like. I remember
environments.
not liking the final boss a lot when I played it the first time.
What was it?
It's literally like you're like in a dream, I think, or something, and you're fighting.
Oh, that sounds familiar. Let me look it up real quick.
And you're fighting your girlfriend that you've seen, your ex-girlfriend who's dead, but you've seen the whole game, and she's sending like waves of like nightmare necromorphs at you.
That sounds familiar.
And I remember not liking it a lot when I played it when I was younger, because I wasn't used to playing games, right?
Oh, yeah, I do remember seeing that.
But I found it fine when I played it like a few weeks ago. I found it to be...
I don't know. I should go back and replay it after this.
And then Isaac has... Well, he sends off Ellie, who Ellie throughout... Okay, this is an important point to make, because Ellie throughout the second game takes care of Strauss, so takes care of a dude, and is pretty, like, self-reliant and stuff. And she helps you out in a bunch of stuff. Like, she runs... Remember that part where you're on the drill, and she's running the drill, and you're on top of it, and she's like, Isaac, you better fight off these fucking necromorphs! And you're like, ah!
She had character in that game, and she was capable of defending herself.
She was really cool. I liked her a lot. And at the end, like, Isaac's just like, I'm just gonna fucking kill myself. And then she comes in and saves your ass.
Don't kill yourself.
Don't kill yourself, Isaac. You're too cool. Yeah. That's good.
It was a good game.
It
was like the first one, except better in a lot of areas.
I like the ending a lot too, where correct me if I'm wrong, but the first one is like Isaac by himself on a shuttle escaping.
Yeah.
And then he sees his dead girlfriend jump out at him.
Yeah.
But like the second one is like he's sitting. You think he's by himself sitting on the escape shuttle, and he's just like, oh. And he's like, oh, is Nicole gonna jump out of it? And he looks around, and there's Ellie, and she's like, what? And the game. That's good.
What? There wasn't any DLC for Dead Space 2, like story stuff.
Like
story.
I bet there was. See,
maybe a little bit.
For some reason, I had a suit unlocked at the beginning of the game. Could have been like an OP suit unlocked, probably from playing other difficulty stuff. I didn't use it. I progressed through the game normally, on normal.
Oh yeah, it looks like there was. Severed.
Is there...
Two chapter downloadable content. Wow, so that's short.
It's in the Titan Station, following the story of
Gabe Weller and Lexi Murdoch.
It's
$6, $7.
$7. $7 Canadian dollar dues.
I wonder how it is. Severed is set 3 years after the events of Dead Space Extraction.
What the fuck is Dead Space Extraction?
The Wii game.
What happened? The fuck is the Wii game?
You didn't know there was a Wii game?
Are we
with Dead
missing?
Space?
Are we missing a
vital
part?
plot point? No.
Oh, that looks quality.
It was better.
It's a
than you
2009 rail shooter, and this
Yeah.
prequel to Dead Space.
think. It was better than you think, but it's still not that great. Like, it's not horrible. Yeah.
I don't have any compulsion to buy story DLC for
No,
Dead
me
Space
neither.
2.
It'd be cool. I'd buy it. $6 or
If they-
whatever. I'm sure I
if-
can get it on Steam.
If for some god-awful reason... not god-awful, but if for some reason they were remastering the Dead Space games in one pack and were putting all the
That'd be cool.
DLC in it, that'd be
They
cool.
won't, but
Because Metro Games closed.
Yeah.
Because EA sucks dick.
yeah, that'd be really cool though.
It's because they weren't making that Battlefield money.
Battlefield money.
They weren't making
Okay.
them big bucks.
Do you want to just jump?
Yeah.
This is going to be the third one. This is the one where we talk
course.
about
This
it.
is the...
And we finished like... you
Danny
didn't even
Markle.
finish. I finished it fucking 2 days ago. I sat down, I think, after my exam
gonna get
for
my
one of my
notes, hold on.
classes, I sat down and played it for probably 7 hours and beat it. I beat it in a single sitting, and I stood up and I was like, so that I didn't think the final boss as well. After I beat the final boss, I was like, wow, that's it.
Well, I want to kind of go... Like, we kind of touched base on the other games in an hour, but we kind of went through 2 movies and 2 games pretty quick. I want to change this, but I kind of want to do more in depth on this. So we have the intro that's narrated by Ellie that basically sums up the other 2 games and everything else that happened.
That intro part of Dead Space 3 was weird. You start as a soldier.
You saw it as a dude
Yeah.
200 years ago.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
was
I wrote-
interesting.
I
but-
got killed in the first like little encounter because I wasn't expecting it, and then I wrote died in the prologue, but this farm boy is gonna die hard anyway. I
Yeah.
bet. And then he falls down the cliff. I wrote it feels like an Uncharted game.
Yeah, it felt like the train scene from Uncharted.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
2, I think, when you're like hanging off
Yeah.
the edge. That's what it felt
And
like.
then I wrote a general voiced by the burned man again.
Is
he shoots that fucking kid then himself.
Himself, yeah.
Non-beginning, pretty dumb already, summed up by Ellie. Like, why the fuck did they have that part?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was to show people that like this is a new Dead Space. There's gonna be
This is the
some
new
action
face
and
of
stuff.
Dead Space. And then we have Drunken Clark. That setup was super quick. We have Drunken Clark
In a
his
shithole apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get to the point where you start furiously texting me, where you're like, "What is this?" Where you get led outside and you start
Shoot dudes
bopping
in
guys
the
in the
head.
head.
And you have to like slow down the traffic, and it causes a huge car crash.
It's so dumb.
And then Isaac's like, "Well, guess I did that." And then he walks through, and it's like, "Oh, okay."
Is this an action game now? And there's a part in Dead Space 2 near the end where you go through this room and there's a line of Marines.
Yeah.
And Isaac won't shoot them. He won't shoot them.
Now he's shooting them.
And I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's a character building thing they did through gameplay. That's good. He's just bopping dudes in the head.
Because they're nameless. They all look the exact same and have no distinguishable features.
I literally wrote, he wouldn't shoot guys in the last game. He's an engineer, for fuck's sake.
This is another thing. The third game, there were necromorphs like 10 minutes after, but they didn't feel like anything. They just popped out at you and you're like, oh, it's just another enemy.
Oh!
Yeah, it was just like, there's another enemy I need to shoot. It didn't feel like a necromorph. Why the fuck were they on? This is like an apartment block. Why were they wearing snowsuits and had pickaxes?
They're on the moon. It's cold on the moon.
In the apartment, they had snowsuits and pickaxes, and they
It's
were
a shitty
walking
apartment.
around.
Probably don't have
It
heating.
was so bizarre seeing that. But then you saw because then you saw the same exact dudes on the icy
Are you
planet.
trying to put...
It didn't make any
Are you
sense.
trying to apply logic to Dead Space
Like,
3?
how hard would it have been to
The
make
slapdash shitball Dead Space game.
How hard would it have been to make like a model of just like a normal civilian as a necromorph, not a snowman?
I know. But then we get introduced by the Chucky from Rugrats antagonist.
Danik.
Is that
Yeah,
I
his
don't
name's,
know his fucking
you don't know his name? I know his name because I heard it a million fucking times. Danik's ships are here. Danik.
Chucky from Rugrats.
Yeah, that's his name, Danik.
And and then Isaac escapes the moon, and he gets wrapped up in this espionage team with the captain and what's his nuts?
Captain Norton, Ellie,
Well,
Isaac.
Ellie's not there yet.
Oh yeah, she's on the planet. Norton, Carver, Isaac,
And the Death Fodder babies.
and the black girl's on the moon as well already.
Yeah, she's on the
Yeah, so that's
thing.
it.
So the Death Fodder babies in the ship. I
Yeah.
like this part of the ship because when you're walking around for a bit, you get the feeling that it's a lived-in ship. Like it's neat.
You see like quarters and
A lot
stuff.
of good
and you're
design,
like,
and then it immediately explodes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they go in the warp drive and they get hit with the necromorph bombs or whatever.
Yeah, the mines
Yeah,
that
the
they
floating
left,
mines,
that
yeah.
crazy Joshua Graham left behind, probably. Yeah, you have to jump into the space, and there's a lot of dead things in there.
Did you ever fight anything in space? It was a waste of fucking ammo.
Yeah, well, they had
fought them,
Bulbasaurs.
but it was a waste of ammo.
It's a Bulbasaurs just kept popping up.
I know, they kept coming out. I killed like 6 of them, and then I was like, wait, do they just respawn?
Yes.
They just respawn.
They have an infinite tube of Bulbasaurs. But
that dog kennel was very large. You ever think about that?
Yeah, well, you put the crate of Death Fodder babies inside the space station that the first part of the game is in, and you just have to go around and collect junk and
random garbage.
Fix a shuttle.
Well, God, it was so busy work. It was you'd get to like, let's say, a gas chamber to put the contagion gas in the ship, and then you'd get there and you'd be like, the pump is broken, and then you'd be like, I need to go down to the pump.
Something.
And then
all the
go
puzzles
to the pump.
weren't clever.
No, not at all.
They were bad.
You'd have to go to the pump, and then he'd be like, the main gas valve is broken.
And then you just spin
and then you go to the main gas valve, spin it,
just
come
walk
back.
for 3 seconds.
God, like, it was so dumb.
And yeah, you collect junk in space, and you meet Ellie, and you realize that the captain and Ellie are banging. That you have been
Norton.
You have been dumped for a douchebag.
For Norton.
Did you? I noticed at this point, because I played them back to back, Dead Space 2 and Dead Space 3, and I played them both on my 360.
Okay.
So it's the same level of hardware and stuff.
Yeah.
The character models in Dead Space 3 look a shitload worse than they do in Dead Space 2.
I thought that too. I saw that too.
Like,
they looked
the only models
fake.
Like the only models in Dead Space 2 that you see all the time are Isaac, Ellie, and Strauss.
I guess they spent more time on them because you only saw that few, and in this game you saw...
Why didn't they just copy paste them
I don't know.
Because Ellie has these fucking like shelf cheekbones that make her face like stick out.
Spooky. Because,
Like,
well, yeah, this game there was how many models? Like, if you count Danik, it was Danik, Norton, the Black Scientist Lady, Ellie, Isaac, Carver,
and the old guy.
7, 8 actual
Chucky
main
from
models.
Rugrats.
Yeah, like 7 or 8
And
big
that's about
models.
it. The rest of the guys have masks.
They were
on.
copy and pasted, yeah. The Blue Yeti has a nice mute button. Okay, yeah, we were talking about Dead Space 3 and their models.
Oh yeah, they all look like shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the point we were trying to make.
I think that's what we finished on now.
Yeah, they had about 8 models, so Dead Space 2 only had like 2 or 3 or 4.
And they were quality.
Yeah, less. I don't know. It didn't really bother me too much in the third game.
I fucking like they didn't emote enough.
No, not
like
at
they
all.
literally were like they looked like they were like made of porcelain.
They were. They took the film rights from Downfall or Aftermath. They
licensed
they licensed that animation style.
Ugh, they look really bad.
Yeah, they are really bad.
And it doesn't make sense because like Dead Space 2, I could think it was a fucking PS4 game, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it looks fun. Well, it's the lighting that does it too.
Yeah, it's all the quality.
Like the lighting and models look really nice.
It's like they have an engine, they know how to use it. And then Dead Space 3 were like, fuck it,
we're on Snow Planet. We're on Snow Planet Hoth.
Anyway, I think we're doing like a little plot summary too. Yeah, they're on the ship.
Yeah.
What'd you think about the first part in space?
Like the in space part.
Yeah.
I think that's like. Yeah, you can classify those as like chunk space part.
Yeah. The side missions are stupid.
Side missions...
They're literally just like,
I did all of them.
Go get some backstory. Here's some shit.
I did all of them on the ship, like...
Yeah, I did all of them too.
I think there was 2, 3 probably.
There was just 2. There was one... There's one I don't fucking remember because it was bad.
I
don't
remember.
And there's the other one where there's like a cowboy guy who was like hoarding shit.
Oh yeah,
and then he's dead at the end.
Space.
And I think we're supposed to feel sympathy for him.
But I didn't.
But then
give
at the
a
end
shit
he's
about
like,
him.
"Get fucked! I'm gonna kill you anyway.
Yeah.
Even though I'm dead."
Yeah. Well, all the side missions were the exact like. They were just go
get
through
some
this,
go get
and
some
then
audio
supply
logs,
box,
and here's a box of shit.
Yeah, that's all it was.
It's like almost like they finished the game and they didn't have enough games, so they added a lot of padding.
Well, that could have been a cool mechanic, like going through the areas and hearing different transmissions and going to look at different areas. But
this is why I thought that the whole game would be in space, is because you have that like shuttle you get on in order to go to different ships.
I thought you could aim at different areas.
Well, I thought it would expand as you like
go
do
farther through
things,
space,
yeah.
but it didn't.
It didn't at all, yeah.
'Cause
No,
you-
I knew you were going to go on the planet because I've seen gameplay and stuff
You
on the
finish
planet.
that space part, and you just like go to
You
the
just go,
surface.
yeah, and then that's it. You never.
Or you
use it
crash
again.
into the surface, and you have to reunite with.
I don't know what the black.
Everyone is
doctor
dead at this point,
Yeah.
basically, and you go to get a snowsuit, and then the guy who literally says in the side mission, "My biggest fear is a death that means nothing," dies
It's the
in
guy
the snow.
that means nothing.
Dies in the snow because they didn't have enough coats. But you go around the corner and turn on the engine,
oh yeah,
and then it gets hot.
I remember that, and I was like, "Oh, that's so sad
That's
for
so
him."
fucking dumb. But yeah, you get a snowsuit, and you go in there, and
There was a lot less cutting of limbs. Lot less cutting of limbs.
just
Like,
because you had to just shoot guys with your shotgun. And at this point, you get
Like-
you get comfortable with like the rig upgrades.
yeah, that was the first
The
time.
whole thing of this game that I don't like is its crafting. I just imagine some guy, some
tungsten,
some
scrap metals,
some suit at
semiconductors.
EA was like, you know what kids like today? Kids like the Minecraft. Can you put some Minecraft in this game?
Sir, we've got semicondors, tungsten, conductors, and there was a one called food rations or something like that.
You know what that was?
What were they used for?
You could use it to buy microtransactions, but you couldn't buy story microtransactions with them. You literally would go into this part of the bench where you could either use Microsoft points or real money to buy resources, or use those ration cards to buy resources.
never did
I
that.
never did
I
it,
didn't know
'cause
what
it looks
it was.
game-breaking. But you couldn't use them to buy, like,
The DLC.
DLC.
You use them to buy loot boxes.
yes.
What the fuck? I didn't know what they were for. Like halfway through the game, I noticed I had them, and I was like, I had like 50 or so.
But you only see them when your scavenger
yeah,
bots come
I know.
in.
And then I was like, oh, did you figure out how the scavenger bots work, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, the little beeping, and then you put
You
them
follow
down.
the beeps, and
Yeah.
it's like beep, 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 beep. You have the circle, and you let it go. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
easy to get. But I just rather they didn't have fucking crafting in this game, and you just used power nodes and fucking. And here's
Power
the,
nodes,
here's the other gameplay loop in Dead Space 2 that I like a lot, because you get different types of ammo for different guns, and you run out of. We're both playing on normal, I'm assuming we played Dead Space 2
yeah.
the first time. You still ran out of ammo.
And
for
some
stuff.
points you were like, I have to be really careful with my shots.
Or you have to use the other gun and get used
And
to it.
then it tells you to use the other gun, and then you have a different gameplay experience. 3, it was just every gun in the universe.
I went through
goes-
50% of my playthrough just using the plasma cutter because I couldn't figure out how
fuck.
to use the crafting thing.
You went through only 50%? I probably went through 90% of that game.
Just the plasma cutter?
Yeah.
And then I
switched
figured it
probably
out,
twice.
and then I put a revolver on the bottom, and I made a
I put a stasis module on it to slow down enemies, and that's it.
That's all you did? That's the only weapon you used for the whole game? Well, I figured out how to do it, and I put a revolver underneath my plasma cutter, and then I made a different gun that was the Ripper.
I made guns.
You didn't
I
use them.
I used them like twice, and I was like, it either takes up a lot of ammo, or it isn't as good.
Well, that's the balance. Is that like it's all the same ammo pool, but some guns use more ammo
Fuck
than
ton of
others,
ammo?
but they do more damage. Except for the plasma cutter, because I literally put
I'd
all the
max
damage stuff on it,
and damage
and it would
clip
just kill
size, and it
things in
would-
2 shots.
Yeah.
That's even on normal. That's nuts.
Yeah. Even near the end, it was like that. You could. The only thing that was different. Did you ever get to the point where you were fighting a lot of black necromorphs? I don't know what they're
Yeah,
called. when it's like,
I like the super powered ones.
Yeah.
I was fighting quite a bit of those.
Yeah, you fight
You'd
more
have to
than
do
you
more
did.
shots, but they still went down.
They
pretty
still
easy.
went down like you could kill 2 in a clip. Yeah, and fucking not even talking about damage and stuff. The ammo conservation.
I had so many bullets. Oh my fucking
100,
god.
like I had 110,
Well, like
150 the whole way
I had,
through.
like, at one
basically.
point, my inventory was full of health packs
and ammo. Yeah, that's it.
and also my storage box was full of health packs and
I
ammo.
I dropped.
This
small
isn't
health
survival
packs.
horror at that point.
It's survival crafting.
It's Minecraft in
Um,
space with Isaac Clarke.
Well, I made 2. Okay, from the ground up, I think I made 2 or 3 weapons. I made a flamethrower. I made a flamethrower with a acid thingy on the side, like an acid attachment to do acid damage, and it had a pulse rifle or something under it. And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. It'll shoot like acidy flames." And it did like nothing. And I was like, "Why don't I just use
made
the plasma
the
cutter?"
pulse rifle, like the blueprint
Yeah.
from the first game, and the pulse rifle from Dead Space 2 was cool because you had a clip that was like 75 bullets or whatever, and either fire like SMG rounds, or
Yeah.
you could use 25 of those rounds to shoot a grenade. I never used. It says in Dead Space 2, I used the plasma cutter, the line gun, the Ripper, and the pulse rifle for grenades. And that's like this were all they all did different things, and I felt like it was a good balance.
You
of
used them
stuff.
at different.
Yeah, you'd use
it's
them
like
in different situations.
You'd get to an area and you'd be like, "Oh, I can use a grenade really effectively here."
Or there's a bunch of little shit boys on the floor. Let me use my Ripper blades. Just
Yeah.
cut them all up.
Did you get a Ripper in the third one ever?
Yeah, it's shitty.
It's shitty. It's really
either,
bad.
Because in Dead Space 2, you had the choice of either holding a saw blade out
You threw it, right?
or shooting one.
You can't throw them in 3, right?
Yeah, you can.
You can.
Because you can either hold them out in front, or you can put a different thing, like a different tip
So
on
you have
it
to get a
to
different-
shoot it. You can't choose between the two. Maybe you can put...
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe you could put one on the top and one on the bottom, but that looks stupid as fuck.
I don't know. When I looked online, some people loved it. I didn't.
I don't like the gun system. Like, I felt like
Okay, I had...
the guns were less memorable. If you just played Dead
Fuck,
Space
I don't
3,
remember
you
the
wouldn't
guns.
remember any of the
No.
fucking guns.
I had the plasma pistol, the
cutter.
plasma cutter, the whole way through. I upgraded it fully with all the best nodes, did all that stuff, and then my second thing.
90% of the time, I still just use the plasma cutter.
Well, yeah, I had a second thing that I had a line cutter with a bunch of extra damage on it,
Mm-hmm.
and a grenade launcher under it with a bunch of extra damage on it, and like reload speed or something. And I used that for like up to halfway, and then I was like, I noticed like every time I
The
switched
line
to-
gun sucks in that game.
I know. Every time I switched to it, I was like, I could do this in 2 shots, not waste a bunch of ammo, not have to wait a bunch of reload time with the plasma cutter.
That's the shitty thing. Is Dead Space 2.
You had points to use the
you had-
guns.
you had-
you had a reason to.
They did different things. They had different fire modes that you didn't have to fuck with. If you ran out of ammo for one, it forced you to
yeah.
use the other one and
You
get
had to learn
comfortable
with
with
it,
it,
yeah.
and actually like be like, oh, this is a good gun. Let me use it instead of the third one where they're like,
Can you buy ammo in Dead Space 2?
yeah,
Yeah.
but like, I also like in Dead Space 3, every 5 seconds there's a fucking bench.
There's a bench, yeah, and an ammo pack, and you can stomp on enemies to get
God.
ammo packs.
Maybe it's different in higher difficulty levels, but I always play a game through on normal first before I put it on a different.
Well, yeah, that's the
difficulty
thing. You
level.
shouldn't have to play it on a higher difficulty level to enjoy it. It's the thing.
Like, I get if you're like,
We don't want new players to struggle and stuff, because I'm sure lots of new players are
well,
coming
that's
in.
not even my point. If you as a person are like, I'm a hardcore gamer, don't give me this baby bitch mode and hard, and then it's just like not fun, but you slog through it
But
anyway.
it's not fun. Like,
I'd rather do normal, because I actually was going through normal and hard at some
You
point,
just
because
switch it
trying to
through, yeah.
find the like optimal difficulty,
Yeah.
which I usually never do. But I don't know, it felt like it wasn't balanced right.
Well, no, I just kept it at normal the whole way through, and I never ran out of health packs.
It feels like the gameplay is almost the same as Dead Space 2, but it feels muddled and shitty.
Well, there's just so many weird things.
Well, you're
in it,
telling me
like-
about the stealth stuff that I never even
Yeah,
realized.
that was supposed to. They were supposed to be stealth segments. You didn't even notice that.
I remember reading an audio
was an
log.
audio or
something,
text log
but
from
it
the
said
captain.
you could scare the stringy boys with your flashlight.
Yeah.
But at that point, you're pointing
your gun at
fucking
them
gun
and
at them,
just
and they
shoot
die
them.
in one shot.
Yeah, and they always give you ammo
They're like-
and health.
They're like the guys in Doom, like the new Doom, where you literally like
shitty
they just
guy-
exist
yeah.
to like give you shit.
No, that was a stealth part you could do, because I've seen people do it online, that they're like,
You're saying that
this-
you were throwing cans and stuff.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cans. Okay, so there's this enemy in Dead Space 3 that's like, they're humans that get infected by eating necromorph infected tissue. That's what it is.
The stringy boys?
Yeah.
They're the same model as the kids from Dead Space 2.
Are
just
they?
reskinned.
Yeah.
All the enemies in Dead Space 3 are just fucking reskins.
Yeah, that's how they got to that point. If you read the text log, they were crew members from that little area that were like starving, so they had dead bodies there, so they ate the dead bodies and then got infected that way. So it made them real skinny or something, I don't know. So there's this area where you go down, and it is a genuinely scary moment. Like, I found it really creepy. You go down the elevator, and it
I didn't get
opens up.
scared once
No.
in this game.
It opens up, and it's that little stringy guy, and he jumps off the counter and runs away. And that was your first time seeing them, and you're like, what the fuck was that? Because you've just seen big
I remember
necromorphs
you
up to
texting
that
me.
point. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's sort of spooky. And then you get another text log that says, the captain or whatever from that little site has been creeping around in the dark, and he's like, you can distract them by throwing cans or other small objects.
Did you actually see someone
I did it.
I bet you use kinesis, right?
I use kinesis. There's always, if you pay attention during those moments, there's always a bunch of little objects around. I picked up a can, threw it, and it ran over and checked it out. And then I went past, and then I was like, that's what you're supposed to do. There's a Dead Space game, and I'm like creeping around. So then I shot one to see what it does, and it completely is a stealth area because it spawns.
Oh yeah, I remember that area.
25 or like a lot of them. But the thing is, why wouldn't you just get
Go in
into a corner? I did that every time.
Yeah.
Get into a corner, shoot one, wait for them to all funnel into
and
your
just
light.
Keep shooting.
Shooting them, they die in one shot if you hit them in their head, and their head's like 50% of their body.
Even their
from the
legs,
torso.
they die.
You kill them all, then you go press spacebar or whatever
I didn't
to stop
fucking,
for a minute
at
straight.
this point, I wasn't 100% on how to use the fucking crafting system, so my gun wasn't all the way like improved or anything.
And it was that was only like an hour after you got to the planet.
Maybe you'd have to use them on like zealot mode or something, but I don't fucking care. I'm not playing. It
Dead
wasn't
Space
even unlocked at that point.
Dead Space to throw cans around and creep around. Just think about what you're doing. Like I did that a couple times. I sat back and I was like, I'm throwing a can at a wall in my Dead Space game to creep
Instead of
by
being
a boy.
nuanced like Dead Space 2, where they put in some action elements and survivor horror elements,
Yeah.
it looks like they were just like scattershot.
They
Let's put a stealth section.
That's the thing. It felt like they threw a bunch of ideas at the wall, and then we're like, let's see what sticks. And nothing really.
Is this made by the same team that made Dead Space 2? Can you look that up? Because it doesn't even feel like the same
Probably.
team.
Well, I'm sure it was EA's thing, because stealth games don't really... Stealth games... How hard is it to advertise a stealth game?
Well,
or
it's
like
not
a
even a
survival
stealth
horror
game.
game?
It just,
compared to like a bang-bang
This feels like
game.
someone... Like another team was given the engine, and EA was like,
"Make it." Dead Space.
Visceral's making fucking Battlefield Hardline right now, which they were.
That came out.
Yeah,
I forgot about that game.
And we need a B team to make Dead Space 3.
Dev Team Edition. Yeah, it was the exact same team.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's the pre-order.
This is the Dev Team Edition.
You get a marker. An 8-inch marker to shove up your butt.
An aluminum data pad.
Oh my god.
A med pack water bottle.
Oh, aren't you be the coolest kid in class with that? Get Peng cards. Peng is fun. Did you ever find the Peng in Dead Space 3? Do you know what Peng is?
Dead Space 3. Peng?
Yeah, do you know what Peng is?
No.
Peng is a hidden... I had never found Peng in Dead Space 2. And people kept talking
What
about
is it.
Peng is a hidden figure you can find in every game. And, you know the part in Dead Space 2 where you're, like, plugging in nodes into a wall in order to make this corridor shift? I don't know if you know that part. They're supposed to light up green when you do it.
Okay.
But in Dead Space 2, they started lighting up blue, and I was like, what the fuck? And I put them all so they were blue, and then you get a secret compartment where you find Peng, and it's just like a little statue of a lady. And it says, and the tagline is, there's always Peng.
What?
Yeah, it's like this little like in joke in Dead Space.
I didn't know that.
I guess
don't know.
you didn't find Peng in Dead Space 3 then.
And you did?
No, I don't think I got to the part.
Dead Space
I think
3 Peng.
P-E-N-G.
P-E-N-G? Peng treasure location? Is it just one?
The Peng
treasure. Peng treasure is a type of prize found in all single-player installments
Probably in
of
that,
the Dead Space
fucking rail
series.
shooter.
The treasure itself is molded into the shape of a woman. What the heck? Once obtaining the treasure, the player is awarded for a great sum of credits. What is Peng?
The term Peng.
So it's like
the very type of erotic entertainment service featuring an attractive woman. Because there's a lot of cool shit like that in Dead Space. Like little things. Like all the store names and like the toys and like Peng and shit. This game is made with love. I don't know
what about the Dead Space mobile game where you can find Peng?
That was the thing they used promotional material for. Now I remember. They had a fucking like Dead Space mobile game before they released Dead Space 3.
I feel like I remember playing that. In Dead Space 3, the Peng treasure is found in Chapter 14. Everything has its place during the optional mission. Oh, okay, so it's in an optional mission. So
treasure can be found at the end of the first tube behind the spiked piston. An upgraded kinesis is required to reach the treasure. It's not worth anything unlike previous games.
What?
Under the trophy achievement, there is always
wait,
Peng.
I guess because that's stupid. You should be able to trade it in for something.
You got $10,000 for it.
Now you get fuck all. So
and it's like a shitty like.
And you have to upgrade something. Oh,
you have to upgrade kinesis all the way.
Okay, here's something else. Did you ever upgrade your air in the rig?
Yeah.
Do you want to know when you used it after the space moments? Never again. I'm not kidding.
use
I'm
it.
not kidding. You use it never again.
No, you use it when you get sucked inside the big necromorph.
For 10 seconds.
I remember I had like 400 seconds of air.
Yeah,
I was
you never use it again past that point. Yep. Because I got to the end of the game thinking that as well. I was like, wow, I'm glad I dumped points
I'm really
in
glad
the
they
air.
made this fucking game. Great.
Did you ever upgrade like your stasis or anything?
Yeah,
I upgraded stasis
I
fully
upgraded
as well.
stasis and kinesis a bit.
I didn't upgrade kinesis.
I
at all.
upgraded kinesis all the way so you could like pick things up and
Okay,
like from farther away,
Hint, they give you a thing at the end of the game that makes kinesis the most powerful ability in the entire game.
like launching things.
Like you can rip off necromorph arms while they're standing there and then throw them at it.
Oh yes, that's what I want in my survival horror game, a fucking power fantasy where I rip
Yeah.
limbs off.
There's little like alien pads near the end
We're
of the
getting
game.
negative. We're getting negative here. We're getting shitty.
There's little alien pads near the end of the game where if you stand on them, your like suit glows bluey, and you can like stasis people way longer, and it makes you invulnerable essentially because you
I
can
hate this game.
you can aim at anything.
Thanks for making me play this. You piece of shit.
You can aim at anything in the game. Like it acts like it's a
We should keep going through the plot.
the plot. Okay.
So you get to the surface of the planet, and that fucking dude dies, and then you reunite with Ellie and them, and you jerk around for a bit. And
What did you even do
don't
from that
fucking
moment
know.
until you got
you
to the
fight
big
a big
thing?
drill.
Oh yeah,
I like it
you
because it
fight a
wasn't
big
just like a
drill.
big necromorph. I think that was cool.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then whatever his name is, Chucky.
Oh, Danik? I'm pretty sure that's his name. I'm almost 100% certain.
His ships start coming down. You start bopping dudes. in
Right
the
when I
head.
saw his ships again, I was like, "Oh my fucking god!"
Well, I guessed that because the romantic subplot in this
Yeah.
game is horrid.
If you want to know, his first name is Jacob Arthur.
Fuck off. It's horrid. It's like you and the captain
He's
like
fighting
bitching like little girls about Ellie. And Ellie is a total damsel in distress in this.
She does
fucking
nothing
game.
but, like,
she doesn't
scream.
do anything. She just gets attacked, and you have to go save her.
in her low cut shirt
And her
to show off
her
her
literal
boobs.
tit shirt. Oh my god.
Isn't she hot though, Jim? Isn't she sexy?
You do this thing that the scientist lady tells you to do. Where you go inside and the big necromorph, and then you come out, and then the captain's like, "Lol, I'm leaving you.
I'm
here."
leaving you behind.
And you get out in 5 seconds, and you go outside.
Yeah, you get out.
You just
Immediately,
kinesis
you just
the lock.
kinesis it. I knew you'd had to kinesis
Because it was blue.
Because it was blue, and I tried doing that before, and I was like, if I'm not doing that now, I'm gonna do it later. Yeah.
Chucky's outside, and he has all your friends, and then
Yeah, you got past that point as well.
obviously, the captain sold you all out. Obviously.
Yeah.
And then you have to fight a big necromorph, and you go inside.
Oh,
And
yeah, you
and
fight the thing
and
you
shoot
climb
those
inside.
like 3 glowy prong fucking
Yeah,
dickbags
yeah,
from Dead
yeah.
Space 2 that I don't like, who shoot the like living grenades at you. Like the homing mines that come at you that are like necromorph
Oh,
mines.
yeah.
And I fucking hate those enemies. And I
Yeah.
had 3 of them. And then you shoot the captain in the head because he's about to kill you. And
Yeah.
then you're like, "Ellie, I shot your boyfriend. I'm sorry."
She's
And
really mad
pissed,
for one chapter,
and then she
kisses
immediately
you.
forgives you.
Yeah.
And then you start going up the mountain, and then I stopped playing because you had to kinesis rocks to get past. And I was
You
like,
were
"Fuck
pretty
it."
close to going up the. Sounds like a fucking stupid plot point to even talk about.
I don't even want to go back and play it.
Okay, so you were pretty close to the end. I think there was like, because going up.
I was
this-
in like chapter 14.
Yeah,
15 or
yeah.
something.
There's 19. Yeah.
So what happens after that?
So after
this
that,
is the first time I've ever heard of this, guys.
Yeah, it actually is. Okay, so after that,
Just as fast as you can.
you kinesis those rocks. You get up the mountain. I think there's another point where you get up the mountain. You get down into the black girl dies.
Obviously,
Yeah.
they're all
She's
death
nothing.
fodder.
I didn't
They're
even know
all
what her
death
name
fodder
was.
babies.
Yeah. So you get to the top of the mountain. You
They
bring
reminded
them
me
up.
of. Did you ever watch Walking Dead?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it's spoilers for Walking Dead season 4. At the end of season 3, they adopt all the people from a local town, and they all fucking die in the
immediately,
first
yeah.
2 episodes. I'm like, fuck off.
Okay, so after that, you go up. You winch the Carver and Ellie and the Black Lady up.
Yeah, that's what I was in the process of doing.
Yeah.
When I stopped.
You stopped right there. You didn't see.
I started going up to the literal last stretch of the mountain, and
yeah.
I was like, fuck
yeah,
this.
you winch them up, and then, fuck, you could tell it was happening 4 hours before it fucking happened. Ellie and Carver get off immediately. They get off the...
And then the fucking thing snaps and the girl
The
dies.
girl's been hating it this entire time.
I remember she's like, what do we do
I know.
now?
She's been bitching about it the entire time, and they get off immediately. And she's on there, and it locks you into perspective. She's on there for an extra 30 seconds packing up shit, and I'm like, come on, get off. I know what's going to happen. That big spider thing that you fought in, like, chapter... You keep fighting him three times. That was the end fight, yeah.
I remember the second fight with him. I used my rocket launcher that I just made, and the fight took 3 seconds.
I forget what happened. Oh, no, I remember where you
just shoot
again,
him,
yeah.
his arms all blow off.
Eesh, yeah.
He runs after you for a bit, you shoot him, his arms all blow off.
Yeah. Okay, so that spider thing grabs the lift, pulls it down. You survive the fall because it brings you down with it.
Because you're Isaac Clarke.
You fall like 100 feet into like a rocky snowbank. So you get up, you fight it, you kill it, you shoot like harpoons into it, and it rips it in half. Mm-hmm. I was really surprised. The achievement was called Hydra, and right when you ripped it in half, it said achievement unlocked Hydra, and I was like, oh, is it going to come back as 2 now? No, it didn't. So I don't know what the achievement. Yeah, I guess because it has like heads that come out, and you have to shoot them again.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah, I know. I was expecting to fight 2. After that, you get to a lab.
Very exciting.
It's real exciting. You climb the mountain again, by the way, actually. Climb the mountain again a little bit, get to a lab, you get to like a snow peak lab right outside of the alien city. It had some
there's an alien city?
Do you know anything about the planet? Did you find anything?
No. Well, I know like they were there and they're finding...
It's not the marker homeworld.
It's not?
No. It's cool. It's way better. Okay. Praise, it's better than I thought it was going to be. It was interesting. It was really interesting to me. So...
Because the whole story of this is like all the markers are like relays
here
for power, and all the power's coming from this planet.
So you get to this planet, or you get to this little snow base, and you hear like through text logs and audio stuff about a thing named Rosetta, and you have to like...
That's a bit on the nose.
Yeah, really. You have to go to the lab. Some shit happens in between. You fight some necromorphs. You go to the lab. You go to the lab. You assemble like their big ice blocks that you have to like slide into place. There's like 8 of them, so they're like pieces are lodged in each ice block, and it's... Okay, this is the fucking stupidest part. I have to describe this well. So they think Rosetta is a human all this time. Like everyone's
Why?
I don't know. They think Rosetta is a human, so then they get to the lab, and there's like 5 ice blocks there. There's 3 little submissions where you have to go and get 3 more ice blocks and put them in a tube system to get back to this lab so you can assemble it. But they think Rosetta's a human all this time. You get to the lab, and even with those, like, 5 pieces, you can see, like, jawed mouths and tentacles in these ice pieces. They still think it's a human. They think it's a human woman. And it clearly looks like an
There's
alien.
lots of references. Have you ever seen The Thing?
Yeah.
There's lots of, like, the remake?
Yeah, both, yeah.
There's lots of references. Like, there's a couple rooms we go in there. There's, like, an open ice block and stuff.
There's lots. Yeah, there's tons of that up there. So, you go to the different rooms, you get the ice blocks, you assemble it, and it makes it in this ice block, because Rosetta has the data inside of her or whatever. Rosetta's an alien. Like, you could piece it together the second you saw the ice blocks. Everyone else is just stupid in the game. It's an alien of the home world that you're on. Like, you're on...
like the race that would live there?
That lived there, yeah. So I thought that was neat. I was like, okay. But... it clearly does not look like a human woman. It's like 8 feet tall, has big spikes on its back and stuff.
Well, I like that plot line in Dead Space, how humanity is like colonizing other planets.
Yeah.
There's no other aliens.
Cool.
It's literally just like them and the markers, and that's it.
So you do this, and then it makes Rosetta, and this was... fuck, Jesus. It makes Rosetta, and it's clearly not a human, and Ellie's like, wait, that's not a human at all. That's not even a woman. And then Carver's there, and he's like, what does that even mean? And it's like an 8-foot-long monster in front of you. And it wasn't a joke. It was like, he did not know that was not a woman. It was very clearly not anything. So
Rosetta, after... Dead Space 3 Rosetta. Just Google search it. Or image search it.
So after that... yeah, this is what he thought was a human woman.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's clearly not a human woman. If you get a second, look at Rosetta in just Dead Space 3 Rosetta. That's what all the characters thought were a human woman. So
anyway,
imagine,
what happens after that?
Okay, after that, you make Rosetta. And then Isaac basically has, like, a moment where everyone gets sucked inside the marker's vision because they're, like, tunneling data out of that.
Oh, did they all get marker sickness?
I wouldn't really call it sickness, but at least Isaac got it.
Because I like that subplot, because, like, either you get turned into a necromorph or it starts fucking with your brain, like Strauss and Isaac. And Isaac especially in Dead Space 2, and that's really interesting. But
so you get to this little thing where the planet, it's like a really weird flashback scene. The planet's like freezing and there's a laser shooting up into the sky and the moon's getting closer and stuff.
Okay.
So you're like, oh, that's weird. Isaac basically has a moment where the camera's facing him and he spouts exactly, and if you couldn't tell what was going on, he spouts just the plot summary of what he
so
like
that
right
means
in front of the camera.
That this planet is this and this and this.
He literally says that, and it's like, okay, well,
what's the end, Dan?
Okay, it zooms out. Danik's men's there. He stole. Danik takes the cortex. Blah blah blah. Ellie, you thought Ellie died at that part because you had to leave her in a room that was engulfed by like this contagion.
More
thing.
Ellie.
Yeah. So you think Ellie's dead. I don't know how she survived, but she did.
Ellie.
You see her at the end. She's the only spoiler. She's the only one that escapes the planet.
What?
Yeah. So the ending was better than I thought with the boss fight. The boss fight wasn't, but the story was. So you go down into the city because Danik wants to start this alien machine again. So this planet that you're on is not the marker homeworld. They thought it was. This planet that you're on hosted an alien race called the Tau something. I forget exactly what it was. But the marker came there as well. And they thought it was like the same thing humans did, like scientific and stuff. But they
so they basically did the same thing humans are doing and they got fucked?
They did it way better though.
Were they actually using marker technology?
They were using it as like an unlimited source of like superpower.
Yeah. But they just have a big fuck off marker there then, and that's why they thought.
Then it was cool to me. Then they realized that they were smart enough to figure it out that markers are a parasitic race from all around the universe.
They are an actual race.
They are a race.
Yeah.
So they're like they realized they're a parasitic race. You saw flashbacks of the planet before the flash freeze that they themselves did on purpose to stop the marker from spreading.
Well, it's like I bet the general figured that out. Like the
I thought it was a cool. I thought it was a cool
he killed
plot.
everybody.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool
plot. So they
plot
wouldn't
point.
figure out what happened.
So this alien race flash froze the planet with this huge machine that Danik's trying to turn off to complete convergence. So I'm a Dead Space extraordinaire now. So
that's where all the unitologists become like awakened, their bodies become awakened, but they get turned into fucking necromorphs.
You don't know what happens. They don't get turned into necromorphs. They get turned into the moon.
What?
They get sucked up into the moon.
Who gets sucked up into the moon?
That's what convergence is.
Who's getting sucked into the moon?
The necromorphs and the people.
They turn into a moon?
The moons are the necromorph signal. I'm not kidding.
So this race of the markers are a race. So they infect a planet.
Okay.
They finish convergence, and then all the necromorphs and the people who get converted, they go up into a moon.
Okay.
And then that moon sends out more markers into space.
Okay, this is what happens. So the marker race sends off. I forget what they're called. The necromorph race sends off markers just everywhere into space.
Yeah.
They land on planets. Like, all these markers just land on random garbage planets. Some of them are good. They check which marker signals have gotten contact.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a relay signal. So they were like, this marker, it has a signal. So there's intelligent life there. It's turning them into necromorphs. So they send what's known as a brother moon there. The brother moon is like a parasitic host moon that attaches to the planet and eats everything on it as a food source and calls other brother moons there. And then they continue the trend. So they eat planet after planet. That's what happened to Aegis 7.
So
Convergence
is this like... Okay, is there a marker homeworld?
There is... The markers have to be coming from somewhere. They're not coming from the brother moons. Okay. So they had to originate from somewhere. We still don't know
Are the
where.
brother moons the race that created them?
It seems like it, yeah.
Because that's ambiguous.
They're intelligent, yeah. It's ambiguous, but they're intelligent. Like,
well, that's not what I was expecting.
It's cool.
That's fucking weird, and I like that.
It's weird, and I like that. That's what I liked as well. I was like, oh, that's.
I like how it wasn't like, because the predictable thing is like, oh, it's like. I don't know the story of Mass Effect too well, but I know that...
The Reapers and stuff?
No, but, like, Yeah, the Reapers, but the race that was there before this current like bout of races, I think they're called the Proteans or something.
Proteans, yeah.
They like basically just like used technology to take over a bunch of other places. They were like an authoritarian race that took everything over. I'm glad it wasn't something like that. I'm glad it was like something weird.
Yeah, I liked it. It was weird and it was different and interesting.
Maybe I should just like watch the ending.
Watch the ending. It's cool. Watch the ending to the DLC. I'll get into that in a sec. The DLC was basically what the game should have been. DLC.
Did you play the DLC?
No, I didn't. I've watched full gameplays of it and stuff. And like the.
Can you just give?
I'll give a brief. Yeah. So. Yeah, the Convergence is essentially the Brother Moons coming and eating all the necromorphs and stuff like that. So, it's real easy for that. It ends with Danik turning off the machine, so the moon immediately kicks back into orbit and like starts the convergence process of sucking up all the like living organisms on the ground. So this is when it turns into a real action game. You're like flying through space
shooting
and stuff.
necromorphs that are jumping on you.
I did think it was neat. You see necromorphs of the alien race.
Oh, that's cool.
It's cool. They were huge and like hard to kill.
Yeah.
And they were neat. It was cool. I was like, oh, that's cool because that happened to them. Like necromorphs aren't just human. Necromorphs is the act of being like that. So that happens. You fight the moon.
Does Danik get turned into a necromorph?
Danik dies. Right after he plugs it in, he spouts something about like sweet convergence, and then a rock falls on him and kills him.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, so
at least in Dead Space 2 you got to shoot that.
Yeah, no, you didn't even get to kill him.
He gets just flattened by a rock.
Yeah, he gets like stabbed by a stalactite or something. So
Tights on the top,
mites
on the bottom.
Yeah, it's a titan. So you go up, you land on like a little platform with all these like glowy spots that increase your telekinetic power.
Oh, this is when you get supercharged?
You got supercharged before this, but now you're getting real supercharged. You're fighting the moon as it's coming down with its big, rotating eyeballs on it. And you have to telekinetically grab floating markers in the atmosphere.
And shoot them at the eyes?
Them at the eyes.
Oh my god. This sounds neat. I'm going to watch this.
It was interesting. The fight was dumb, because the fight was over in like 10 minutes.
And then what happens?
So
at the very end, what happens? You blow up the moon.
Carver and Isaac are like, Ellie, get the fuck out of here, because we're not going to live. Like, we're dead. Leave.
Carver, our friend who's been with us the whole game. I'm going to talk about that.
At the very end, yeah. So, Ellie leaves. You kill the moon falls on the planet. It shows Ellie sitting in the spaceship, and she's like, Isaac, are you there? Dead silence for a second, and then she starts to cry, I think, and then she like shock points into she's like Earth's atmosphere, shock points into Earth's atmosphere because she has to tell everyone what's going on because they finally figured it out, and then it like pans down and you can see the moon like crashing against the planet, and then you want to know what you hear? Ellie! And you hear Isaac's voice. He says something, and then it like cuts out, and it's like Dead Space 3 made by. So that's the end of the game.
Oh,
so I was
Carver,
like,
do you see Carver die? Does Carver live?
He gets sucked into the atmosphere.
Does Carver die?
I guess.
Oh,
well, I mean, if you're a co-op player, who knows?
So that sounds like an okay ending.
Yeah, it was
not as good as Dead Space 2.
No,
but like,
it was interesting.
Now I want to talk about what we didn't do. Is we didn't play this fucking game together. And as the back of the box says, team up and take down the terror together.
And
team up or go alone. And
everything in the game was made for co-op.
I'm gonna tell you. Last night,
yeah,
when I was done hanging out with my friends, I was cashing in one of the spare beds.
Okay.
And I was watching Jesse Cox play Dead Space 3.
Did he play it co-op?
With Dodger.
Yeah.
You know who Dodger is? Okay, basically the girl that's on the Co-op Show podcast as well. And she plays Carver.
Yeah.
And as you play through the game, Carver will see things that Isaac doesn't.
Well, yeah, there's lots
like
of...
he's haunted by his dead family or something.
It's
and
made
he sees a bunch
of
stuff.
Yeah, it's made for co-op.
And that's where the scares come. And that's where all the like interesting stuff comes from. It's from co-op, co-op.
It's made for co-op. Every single bench in the game, there's 2 spots. Every single suitcase, there's 2 spots.
That.
Every single jet thing, there's 2 spots. Everything, there's 2 spots.
Because I believe that a good game...
You
like
shouldn't
a good single
fucking...
it
should
be really enjoyable to play by yourself. Yeah. But like Dead Space 3 sucks.
Yeah.
And I don't think...
Maybe it's
I think
better
I think it'd be better if we played it together, but that shouldn't be a fucking requirement.
No, that shouldn't be a requirement.
It's
every...
why I don't like Borderlands.
I liked the door. So I got to the end of the mission. I got to the end of the game, and there was a door that was locked. And on the lock, it usually just says closed or locked, and you have to open it. This door had a big red-orange sticker that said co-op. I could only access that door.
Literally, like, not even in a menu. Like, you go up there and it's just like, co-op only.
It wasn't a menu. It just said co-op on it.
Oh my god.
And I was like,
you know the
okay.
co-op where they sell their space vegetables.
And then I got a tip, and it was like, this mission is an optional mission only playable through co-op.
Fuck my ass.
And I was like, okay then, well, that's something.
Fuck off.
Yeah, so the whole game was made for co-op. Playing it single player was
Don't play
bad.
this game.
Yeah.
I don't care if you have a friend that you play games with. This game sucks.
So, yeah, the DLC.
Watch Jesse Cox play it.
So, the DLC was... It was basically what the game should have been. You keep having, like, nightmares. It's focused on Isaac and Carver's story, so it's another thing you really
Is
need
it
to
a side
play.
mission that Isaac and Clark
Basically, yeah. It
gives
gives you the true ending,
does it
though.
Take place after? Yeah, does it take place after? What happens?
If I remember,
what
yeah.
happens at the very end?
The very end, so... Isaac and Carver do a bunch of shit. You learn more about, like, where the markers are from, which
I
is
don't
interesting.
care.
I know. Okay, so... You fight through everything, you get back onto a ship, you warp drive home. Isaac and Carver are best buds. They try and, like, kill each other in the DLC a couple times, but they're okay, they're still friends.
Oh my god.
So, you get on the ship, you warp drive to Earth's orbit, and this ship's, like, 200 years old or whatever, so you get into orbit, and they're both, like, trying to comms into Earth, and Carver's like...
And Carver's like, and you get a message that's like, welcome to the year 2700 with Space Empress Ellie.
So,
ancient Ellie comes out to the ship. She's like, Isaac!
Nothing happens, and then you can see from the, like, precipice of the Earth's, like, orbit, you can see, like, something rearing up around it, like it's as big as the moon, and then Isaac's like, oh my god, no. And then you can see, like, multiple brother moons floating out of the Earth's orbit. That's fucking cool!
Are they, like, full of
shit?
So the Earth
they're attacking the Earth. That's fucking neat!
And then we never know.
And then you never know what happens!
Because we're not getting more Dead Space
That's
games.
fucking neat as hell. Like, it happened so cool.
Well, I'm really glad that you told me that, so I have to spend $7 in order to get that.
Yeah, like...
He's viciously Googling the...
Like, it's really
Dead
cool.
Space Awakened ending. I'm just gonna watch this.
Yeah, like, it's really neat. You get to Earth. Yeah, you hear, like, screams from the Earth and stuff. And he's like, wow, what's going on?
Oh, God.
Like, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is what the game should have been. It was
like,
so
that
cool.
ending's still not that good.
It's not that good,
That's
but
a sequel-bait ending that we're
it's
never gonna
neat,
get.
Though. It's like neat. You look at it and you're like, wow. That's disturbing. Like, the moons are living. Like, they're a living being.
I imagine if they're
Do you think there ever will be anything?
No, they're not. It's not coming back, dude. Because Dead Space 3 didn't make enough money.
Yeah,
EA's
true,
a greedy piece of shit that doesn't know how to spend less money to make more money. Like they literally acquire companies that make successful games, and they give them too much money to make a game, and give them unachievable goals with their game. And when they don't meet them, they just eject them.
Can them.
Yeah.
That's sad.
In an alternate timeline in Dead Space 4, I think it would be like...
Be set on Earth.
You play as Ellie.
Ew.
I want to play as Ellie. That's one of my notes for this.
Playing as Ellie.
I forgot about my
fun.
fucking notes.
Okay, you can look up people talking about it. I feel bad for some of the people that were really invested in this story.
The fucking... I don't like the soundtrack in this game. It's too actiony, and I
can't really remember. Oh, I do remember the boot stomping. Every time you stomp your boot, it makes a trumpet sound.
Mm-hmm. And I wrote notes like, "Why the fuck am I playing Tetris with crates?"
Oh, you wrote Tetris too. I did too. When you had to switch the garbage crates, and it was
that's
like
exactly
bing, bing,
the
you
point.
did it right, and it switches down. I thought that was neat when you saw the necromorph crate, and it was like wriggling around. So you were like, "That's another moment. Like that's what makes it scary." You put it there, and then you're like. I have to go and see what that is now, because I'm going to have to go where those went.
Yeah, that wasn't that good, Dan.
It wasn't scary, but I was like, that's cool.
There's a turret section in this game. Do you remember that?
What do you do? Oh, when you're flying down to the planet?
No, when you're... Remember you had those two open things that were spinning, getting full of, like, explosive crates?
Oh, yeah! I tried to do that turret section the first time, and I didn't really understand it, because I went to the one turret, and that was for your co-op partner that I didn't have, so I had to go to the other turret more in the back.
Why didn't anyone bring a coat? That was one of my
They were real cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to an ice planet.
And no one brought coats.
Why
or,
didn't-
like, had the
Literally,
suits.
in all caps and underlined, why didn't you play as Isaac and Ellie in this game?
That'd be cool! Co-op Isaac and Ellie.
Yeah.
Instead of John Carver.
And
There's so many parts.
And I did my own quote from the captain that I just,
What was it?
I just summarized from everything he was saying, and I just wrote this like thing. Ellie, huh? Is that Isaac calling you to say he's killed a horde of monsters and taken steps to save all of us? Well, why don't you two just kiss then? And he goes off and huffs in the corner.
Yeah. Well,
And these
he
fucking-
actually said shit like that.
Yes.
He'd stay upstairs.
was
Isaac would go
literally
downstairs,
on the
clear a
same
basement,
thing.
and then he'd be like, "So you're finally back."
And I wrote, and through the text logs, you figure out that these dummies think that if they kill Isaac, they won't turn into monster
Yeah.
corpses.
Unitologists are dumb. Like, they're stupid. I just want to know what in their religion makes them think that, like... Well, I guess the marker fucking with them.
And my
I don't
last
know.
note was, before I quit, was I really want to get to know this co-op guy. Like, I want to know
I
about
didn't-
Carver, but I don't want to have to
Yeah,
play
play
co-op,
co-op to
or-
know about
order.
him.
They should just write him good
Well,
in the
you'd
cutscenes.
see him in the stories at a cutscene, and he'd be like, "Come on, Isaac, I'll meet you up here."
Well, the good
They'll
way
turn
to
around
do
and he's
that,
gone.
The way to do that is how you get to like Ellie in Dead Space 2. Because you don't play as Ellie.
You see her
You-
doing things.
She
though.
talks with
Yeah.
Isaac, and you get to know her character and stuff. And like, she is there while you're playing
Yeah,
the
but
game as well.
she's not, like-
participating in
yeah.
fights. They should have done that stuff in Dead Space 3, but they didn't because it was fucking co-op gated.
God. I feel like I'm gonna forget this game in a week.
I'm gonna forget this game as soon as we're finished recording. I'm gonna like sell this copy back to the store.
I just like that moon ending because it's like,
Well,
It's like
now I've seen
Eldritch-y,
it.
it's cool.
I don't have to play the fucking game now.
but yeah, that DLC's chocked full of like flashbacks and like scary shit. Like that's what the game should have been, but it wasn't. And now we'll never know what happened to Brother Moon. Yeah,
I'll just replay Dead Space 2 and feel good.
yeah.
So our verdict on Dead Space 3:
It's not very good, boys.
watch a Let's Play.
Yeah. Watch
If
a
you-
Let's Play, or if you have this game and you really don't have any money to buy another game or
If
any
you're-
internet access.
If you are in a hut on the moon and all you have is
It's
a
a
TV
copy of Dead
and a
Space
copy
3
of Dead
limited
Space
edition.
3, just play it.
yeah,
I
it wasn't
guess.
very good. Yeah, that's my thought on it.
I'm glad this was our first reboot podcast episode, Dan.
Well, there'll be better ones.
With this podcast, each week we're gonna trade off you picking something bi-weekly. You pick something, we watch it or play it, either a game or a movie or a book or something, and then the next week I pick something to do.
I wish my first pick wasn't Dead Space 3.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't have done a joke as for your phone. So I'm picking for next episode. I'm gonna change it up and let's do a movie. So we're not literally playing games for 25 hours in 2 weeks.
I think it took me 15 hours to do Dead Space 3.
Well, I played Dead Space 2 as
Oh,
well.
shit.
Yeah.
And you probably
And
played
we watched-
10 or so hours of
Yeah,
Dead Space 3.
and I watched those
and
poop
the
movies.
3 hours of movies.
Yeah, 2.5 hours. We're gonna watch Django and Django. We're gonna watch.
Does the first one have like a subtitle?
No,
with
it's just
unchained?
Django, with Franco Nero from 1966. Good old spaghetti western.
Nice.
And then we're gonna watch Django Unchained, which is much longer and more expensive and Tarantino-y, and we're gonna compare them.
A must-see spaghetti western.
Yeah, that's one of the best. I think it's one of the best spaghetti westerns made because I have a lot of spaghetti westerns and I like them a lot. But that was the old One Couch podcast.
Holy shit! 2 hours and 45
yeah, Django
minutes.
Unchained's long.
Oh my god!
The first Django's only an hour and a half or something.
I could watch both Dead Space movies
Fuck.
in that time.
Yeah, the first One Couch podcast that I did before, we just did movies and we did 2 movies a week. And
Holy
that
shit.
was like 3 hours. Because Adrian would pick one and I'd
one,
pick
and then
one.
you'd pick one,
And
yeah.
we'd do them both. But yeah, that's too much. So next time I am picking 2 movies, but like it'll be it'll be more
episode,
direct
yeah.
comparison of the 2,
Yeah,
right?
because the other two, it was what, Blue Velvet and Evil
Well,
Dead?
the first episode, the only episode we released, we
Yeah.
did a lot of episodes after that. The first episode released was Blue Velvet and Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And they're pretty different. And
Yeah.
that was like 2 hours and 45 minutes or something. So
Yeah. Okay. Well,
that has been the first episode of the reboot of One Couch Podcast. How do you feel about it, Dan?
I like it a lot, Jim.
Do you like podcasting?
I like talking.
I've done other podcasts too, but do you like this life, this fast-paced life?
That fast-paced, action-packed life.
Yes.
I like it. I like talking about shit like this. Yeah. And it makes me play weird games that I would have never played because I've had Dead Space. I think I've had Dead Space 3 since probably it came out.
Oh my god.
And I've never played it.
Just a little spoopy 14-year-old boy buying
I never
games.
wanted to. Okay.
Alright, so that has been the first episode of One Couch Podcast.
See you next with Django and Django.
Bye!